Chapter 931. Chen Zhao was like a trash can, and James was there to pour out his trash feelings. Chen Zhao realized that this feeling was familiar. Stephen seemed to be like this too. Chen, sorry to disturb you for so long. Smiling, Chen Zhao shook his head. It's fine. If you're annoyed, come to my place and drink with me. I'll go back now. I'll visit you after I'm done. Chen Zhao hugged James. Don't think too much. Relax. Watching James leave, Chen Zhao received a call from his mother. Chen Zhao, do you have time? Come to my place. Chen Zhao guessed that his mother missed Jerlin. Although Chen Zhao and his mother were distant, he didn't object. Nevertheless, he didn't object to his mother interacting with Jerlin. No matter what their relationship was, his mother was still Jerlin's grandmother. Plus, Chen Zhao felt that it was something to be happy about having another person to love Jerlin. Mom, I'll bring Jerlin over tomorrow. Okay, his mother answered almost immediately. The next day, Chen Zhao brought Jerlin to his mother's place. Hearing that Chen Zhao and Jerlin were coming, Yura waited at the door. When she saw Chen Zhao and Jerlin's car, she immediately went up to hug Jerlin. Jerlin still remembered Yura. Once she was in her arms, she immediately kissed Yura's face. Brother, look, Jerlin still remembers me. Chen Zhao took out a red packet. This is for you. Yura thought that it was money. Her mother used to give her red packets during Chinese New Year too. Yura poured it out. It was a gold coin with a red string on it. Brother, what's this for? It's for safety, Chen Zhao said. Where's Mom? In the living room. Yura brought Chen Zhao there. Chen Zhao realized that Chen Ku was there too. However, the two just nodded. Yura, give me Jerlin. His mother couldn't wait to snatch Jerlin away. Chen Zhao, what can Jerlin eat now? Other than milk powder, she also eats some soft food, Chen Zhao said. How old is she? You're already giving her soft food? I plan to stop breastfeeding her in 2 months, Chen Zhao said. So let her touch other food now. Otherwise, she won't be able to stop breastfeeding. Weaning is very painful for both adults and children. Why don't I help little Jerlin wean? I have experience. His mother looked at him expectantly. Plus, Feilai's pregnant too. It'll affect her. Chen Zhao shook his head. No need. I want to wean Jerlin myself. Weaning a child was also an experience for Chen Zhao, an experience that he couldn't miss. Weaning a child was also a stage of growth for the child. Generally speaking, children would be weaned around the age of 1. At this time, the digestive ability of the child's stomach had already improved and could digest more complex foods. However, Chen Zhao had observed Jerlin and her papa. Some children who developed faster could be weaned earlier. After weaning, the child could obtain more comprehensive nutrition through the food he ate. His mother's face showed obvious disappointment. Of course, the child was Chen Zhao's, so he had the final say. As a mother herself, she could understand what he was thinking. The way she interacted with Chen Zhao had always been to treat each other with respect. Although the phrase treat each other with respect was used to describe husband and wife, in reality, their relationship was just like that. They respected each other, but didn't interfere with each other's lives too much. Oh, Chen Zhao, this is my red packet for Jerlin. Chen Zhao took the red packet and opened it. It was a share transfer contract. Chen Zhao only glanced at it and then frowned. Mom, take this back. Chen Zhao, this is for Jerlin. It's not Chinese New Year or Jerlin's birthday. Chen Zhao was very determined. His mother's expression darkened. The shares belong to Yura, Chen Zhao said. Jerlin doesn't have the right to own them. Brother, can I give it to Jerlin? No. Chen Zhao rejected immediately. His mother quickly regained her composure. Okay, I didn't think it through. Oh, Chen Zhao, I heard that you have a lot of connections in Hollywood. Your cousin is also an actress. If you have a way, introduce Chen Ku to some departments. His mother changed the topic. Actually, I don't have many connections. I'm just a health consultant for a director. His mother didn't know, because Chun-Ku had told her everything she knew. But Chun-Ku wouldn't really believe Qin Zhao. She'd seen Chun Zhao's relationship with Stephen and James. No matter how Chun Zhao messed around on James's set, James always let it go. Also, the chairman of PLM Film Company and Stephen were fighting to be Jerlin's godfather. It clearly wasn't as simple as knowing each other. Auntie, don't make things difficult for cousin. If Chun Zhao wasn't willing to help, she obviously wouldn't give him the cold shoulder. Chun Zhao and his mother were very different, and he was even more indifferent to Chien-Ku. If they met on the street, he might not even greet Chien-Ku. Oh, have you thought about Jerlin's Chinese name? I have a few choices. Do you want to think about them? His mother asked. I plan to give Jerlin's Chinese name when she's 1 year old. Oh, I see. That's good. Some families would give their children a nickname first, and then a real name when they were 1 year old. The Chen family also had this custom. Qin Zhao felt that Jerlin was just a nickname. He would give her a real name when she was 1 year old. His mother was also helpless about this. Qin Zhao had separated Jerlin's growth from her grandmother, but she couldn't do anything about it. Qin Zhao's relationship with her was already very faint. Their relationship had always been more intimate than that of a stranger. What do you and Fei Lai plan to do for Christmas? His mother asked. I haven't decided yet. His mother had wanted to invite Qin Zhao's family over for Christmas, but Chun Zhao had rejected her a few times before, so she didn't think it was possible to invite him. Actually, Chun Zhao planned to have a party on Christmas Eve and invite his friends in LA. Christmas would be for the two of them. He'd also arranged some programs. As for the pets at home, apart from Snow White, which was a pure wild animal, the others all had demon blood in them. How could they be interested in Christmas? They wouldn't be letting Chun Zhao down if they didn't cause trouble on Christmas. Oh, Mom, this is the wine I brought. Fei Lai and I brewed it ourselves. Qin Zhao took out his gift. Nameless wine? You and Fei Lai brewed it? His mother immediately recognized the bottle when she saw it. Chapter 932. Auntie, is this wine famous? It wasn't just famous. It had become a standard at parties in the upper class. His mother also had 2 bottles. She'd bought them from the black market. She'd also sent people to Mara's supermarket to keep a close eye on it and buy it every month when it was on the shelves. But the result was the same. She couldn't get it at all. There were too many rich people who thought the same as her. Moreover, Mara's supermarket didn't have a fixed time every month. It could be the beginning of the month or the end of the month. In order to buy the wine, they'd even started a spy war. They'd bribed the supermarket's employees, executives, and even the buyers and transporters. Some even wanted to know the source of the wine. Unfortunately, they'd all returned empty-handed. In Mara's supermarket, the source of the wine was the biggest secret. Even the executives didn't know where the real source came from. They didn't expect the wine to be made by their son. Chen Zhao stayed at his mother's house for half a day. He mainly wanted his mother to spend more time with Jerlin. After all, he rarely came over. His mother also rarely went to his house. Every time, she'd use the excuse of sending Yura to his house and then spend some time with Jerlin. Before leaving, his mother was very reluctant. It was like they were going to part forever. When Chun Zhao walked out of his mother's house, he received a call from Fei Lai. Chen, where are you now? On my way home. Don't come back. Go line up at Marina's in Beverly Hills. I'll go there now. Is that restaurant famous? Can't you just call and reserve a place? Marina's doesn't accept phone reservations. You can only line up. Even celebrities have to line up there. Okay. When Chen Zhao found Marina's, he realized that there was indeed a long line. Of course, many customers didn't line up in person. They had their assistants or bodyguards line up. It was rare for Chen Zhao to line up with a child. Just then, a couple walked over from Chen Zhao's side. The woman was James' ex-wife, Sarah. She had a mustached man in his 60s. When Sarah saw Chen Zhao, she glanced at him from the corner of her eyes. Seriously, why does everyone come here to eat? It's disgusting. Sarah looked at Chen Zhao. The man stroked his mustache. From Sarah's tone, it seemed like she had a grudge against this Asian. Hey, this isn't a place you should be, the man with the mustache said. Everyone's gaze fell on the three of them. A few of them looked at the man with the mustache in awe. However, Chen Zhao didn't know this guy at all. I like being here. What's it to you? This is Marina Restaurant. We only serve celebrities here, the mustache man said. A third-rate director's follower dares to line up here. Sarah looked at him in disdain. Clearly, she thought that James was her follower. She also checked the news about herself today, but she didn't find any negative news. So Sarah felt that her warning had worked. James? James, the director of Animal Mart that was released at the same time as my movie during the Christmas slot? That's right, it's him. But how can his Animal Mart compare to your God of War? The smile on Sonnenfeld's face widened when he heard Salad's words. It was every commercial director's dream to direct a super blockbuster. Moreover, DSN had already conducted a private screening of God of War and had professional critics evaluate it. All of them gave high ratings. The test screenings in a small area were also very good, and all of them gave very good reviews. Sonnenfeld believed that after God of War was released, he could become a first-rate director. Go back and tell James to prepare for a box office failure, Sonnenfeld said provocatively. At the same time, he stuffed a $10 bill into Chen Zhao's pocket. Then he patted Chen Zhao's chest. Also, this is your compensation after you lose your job. Otherwise, you won't even have money for your daughter's milk powder. With that, Sonnenfeld and Salad went to the counter at the entrance. I don't want to eat with a lowly person and chase him away. With that, the two entered the restaurant without even waiting in line. Then the waiter walked up to Chen Zhao. Sir, I'm sorry. Our restaurant doesn't accept you. Please leave. Why? Our restaurant has our rules. We don't accept people who don't dress properly. Also, we don't accept babies. It'll affect other customers' mood. I've been standing here for half an hour. Why didn't you say so earlier? Chen Zhao was a bit annoyed. You've been standing here for half an hour. You've seriously affected our business. I didn't warn you because I wanted you to leave on your own. Now that a customer has complained, please leave immediately. What if I don't leave? Then I'll have to call security, the waiter said. Got it. Chen Zhao carried Jerlin and left with a dark expression. Downstairs he met Fei Lai. Chin, aren't you going to line up upstairs? Fei Lai was dressed very beautifully today. She even wore the dress that Triss had designed for her. Even with her 3-month-old belly, it couldn't hide her beauty. Chen Zhao chuckled. I've already asked people to line up upstairs, but there are a lot of people. Just wait here. Chen Zhao had Fei Lai sit on a chair downstairs. I'll go buy a bottle of water. Do you want something to drink? No need. Leaving Jerlin beside Fei Lai, Chen Zhao walked to the side and took out his phone. He dialed Yamila's number. Merry Christmas, Miss Yamila. Hi, Mr. Chen. There's still 10 days until Christmas. Isn't it too early for you to give your blessings? Amira knew Chen Zhao's temper very well. He wouldn't call her if he didn't have something to say. Mr. Chin, what do you want? Please tell me directly. I want to ask you how to buy a restaurant quickly. How quickly? Half an hour at most, Chen Zhao said. Which restaurant? Marina's restaurant in Beverly Hills. Do you know it? Yes, Amira answered. It's the property of the famous movie star Nafa Twain. I want to know if you have any ideas. It's hard, Amira said. Miss Amira, I can help you with something. Even if you offend the Demon King, I can help you solve your problem, Chen Zhao said. Anything. Chapter 933. Chen Zhao hadn't been humiliated like this in a long time. Even Jerlin had been humiliated like this. Qin Zhao hated this feeling. He was never someone who knew how to hide his emotions. If he lost something, he'd get it back. Half an hour later, a car stopped before Qin Zhao. An older man alighted from the car. "Hello, are you Mr. Qin? I'm Nafa Twain." "Hello, Mr. Nafa. Call me Twain." Nafa Twain didn't become an A-list celebrity by putting on airs. He knew the importance of connections. Since Chen Zhao could invite Amira, it meant that his background wasn't weak. Of course, he was an A-list celebrity, an international superstar in Hollywood. If it was just Amira, he wouldn't have compromised. His relationship with Amira was more of an exchange of benefits. Compared to the exchange of interests between him and Amira, a restaurant was obviously not worth mentioning. "Mr. Qin, my suggestion is to transfer 60% of the restaurant's shares to you. I'll keep 40%. Trust me, this is the best choice for the restaurant," Nafa Twain said. "You don't mind if I use your name to earn money?" Qin Zhao asked, smiling. "If I can have a friend like Mr. Qin, I think it's worth it." Nafa Twain was good with words. At least, Qin Zhao felt comfortable with Nafa's attitude. "I'll go with you," Nafa Twain said. "I can announce this to the restaurant staff." "Okay, my girlfriend is still sitting there." Nafa Twain followed beside Qin Zhao. When he saw Fei Lai, his words were also appropriate. "Is that beautiful lady your girlfriend?" Fei Lai was surprised to see Nafa Twain beside Qin Zhao. Unlike Qin Zhao, who didn't care about what was happening around him, she still paid some attention to Hollywood. That was why she recognized Nafa Twain at first glance. "Hello, beautiful lady. I'm Mr. Chen's friend." Nafa Twain smiled and shook hands with Fei Lai. "Hello." Fei Lai didn't understand why Qin Zhao would invite Nafa Twain. However, Nafa definitely wasn't Qin Zhao's friend. At least, they weren't close. She basically knew all of Qin Zhao's friends and had a good relationship with them. Moreover, Qin Zhao's friends wouldn't call him Mr. when they called him. "Mr. Qin heard that Miss Fei Lai likes my restaurant, so he bought shares from me. Miss Fei Lai can come to my restaurant whenever you want." Fei Lai looked at Qin Zhao in disbelief. But more than that, she was touched. She didn't think that Qin Zhao would buy the restaurant just because of what she said. "Fei Lai, sorry for making you wait so long." "I'm fine." The three of them went into the restaurant. When the waiter at the door saw Qin Zhao, he wanted to humiliate him again. However, when he saw Nafa Twain beside Qin Zhao, the waiter's expression changed. Panic appeared on his face. "Willie, are there any empty rooms?" Nafa Twain asked as he walked to the service counter. "Yes, sir." "Mr. Qin, Miss Fei Lai, let's go in." When Qin Zhao reached the door, he paused and looked at the waiter. "Oh, you're Willie, right?" There was a meaningful smile on Qin Zhao's face. Willie's expression turned fearful. "Willie, this is Mr. Qin. He'll be the biggest shareholder of the restaurant in the future. When you see Mr. Qin and Miss Fei Lai, you have to respect them like you respect me." "Biggest shareholder?" Willie's expression turned very ugly. His smile also froze. The three chatted happily as they entered the restaurant and the room. The room was by the window. The huge floor-to-ceiling glass wall allowed them to see the night view of the entire Beverly Hills. The decorations inside were also very exquisite. "Mr. Qin, I won't disturb you and Miss Fei Lai anymore. Goodbye." A while later, the waiter came in to take their orders. After ordering, Qin Zhao stood up. "Fei Lai, I'm going to the bathroom." Then he walked out of the restaurant and looked around. The restaurant's business was quite good. Qin Zhao had spent $8 million to buy 60% of the shares. It was quite worth it. Marina restaurants per capita spending was around $6,000. The business hours were only 5 to 10 in the evening, and they were only open for 5 hours. The night's turnover was around $300,000. After deducting the cost, the net income was around $50,000. It would take around a year to recoup the cost. Normally, Nafa Twain wouldn't sell a golden chicken that could lay eggs. Qin Zhao didn't know what price Amira had paid, but he'd also paid a price. Although it was the result of being impulsive, Chen Zhao felt that it wasn't a loss. After all, 60% of the golden chickens' shares belonged to him now. When Chen Zhao walked to the intersection, a waiter walked over. "Sir, is there anything I can help you with?" The waiter already knew that Chen Zhao was the biggest shareholder of the restaurant, so he was very respectful to him. "Do you know which table Mr. Sonnenfeld is eating at?" Chen Zhao asked. "Yes, sir." "Take me there." The waiter brought Chen Zhao to Sonnenfeld and Fei Lai's table. The two had been having a pleasant dinner together, but Chen Zhao, an uninvited guest, appeared before them. "Why are you here? Damn it! How can you enter such a high-class place?" Sonnenfeld looked at Chen Zhao in dissatisfaction. Chen Zhao looked at Sonnenfeld with a smile. In his hand was the $10 that Sonnenfeld had given him. "Mr. Sonnenfeld, thank you for the $10. I'll take good care of it. I'll always remember what you said to me," Chen Zhao said with a smile. "Mr. Sonnenfeld, I'll take good care of it." With that, Chen Zhao turned and left. Both Sonnenfeld and Fei Lai were very unhappy with Chen Zhao's words. Everyone could tell that Chen Zhao was declaring war on them. "Waiter, why is he here?" Sonnenfeld asked, annoyed. "Mr. Sonnenfeld, he just became the biggest shareholder of Marina Restaurant." "What? How is that possible? So many people in Hollywood want to buy this restaurant." Na Fa Twain never agreed. Why would he sell it to a random Asian? Chapter 934. "Chin, did you see someone you know?" Did you see her?" "I saw you walk to the table in the corner," Fei Lai said. "Yes, James's ex-wife," Chen Zhao said. "So I went over to say hi." Fei Lai knew Chen Zhao too well. He definitely wouldn't greet his friend's ex-wife. There were only two possibilities for him to go over. One was a friend, and the other was an enemy. "Fei Lai, do you like the smell here?" "Yes, it's really good." Chen Zhao also thought that it was good, but it wasn't to the point where he had to come. In fact, the underlings in their house might not be much worse than the chefs here. However, the environment here was indeed very good. It was nice to eat here once in a while. Jerlin was already asleep in the cradle. Marina's restaurant provided many services, such as the cradle. Actually, most famous restaurants didn't just provide food to their customers. They also provided other additional services. It was already late when they got home. But Fei Lai didn't plan on sleeping yet. She swam in Mirror Lake with Chen Zhao. Actually, the water temperature was still a bit low for Fei Lai. However, an appropriate low water temperature was good for the body's blood circulation. When the body felt low temperature, it would speed up the blood flow to increase the body's temperature. It was also good for the fetus in the body. "Fei Lai, can I ask you a question?" "What?" "I have a friend with a really, really high status," Chen Zhao said. "He really, really doesn't like Christmas. I don't know if I should give him a present for Christmas." "Like Stephen? You can't imagine him as a president, right?" Chen Zhao said. "I see." Fei Lai thought about it. "Then why are you considering giving him a present?" "Because I think that since I prepared a present for all my friends, I'll feel sorry if I don't give him one. I don't want to treat any friend differently." "Then give it." "But he doesn't like Christmas." "You're not giving him a present because he's your friend," Fei Lai replied. "That's true." Chen Zhao nodded. "But what should I give him?" Chen Zhao was troubled. "It's fine as long as it's a thoughtful gift," Fei Lai said. "Just like other friends. It doesn't have to be expensive or match his status." Fei Lai thought for Chen Zhao too. The two came out of the lake and entered the living room. Fei Lai saw the zither in the living room. "Oh, play a song for your friend." "But I won't. There are still a few days before Christmas. You can use these days to practice a song." Thinking about it, Chen Zhao realized that he was asking for trouble by asking Fei Lai this question. However, since Fei Lai had already said that, Chen Zhao felt that he would feel sorry if he didn't give that friend a song. "All right, I'll take advantage of these few days to practice a song." He took out the music sheet that the music shop owner had given him in Montreal. The first page of the score was a limerick. His fourth finger is firmly planted, and his fourth finger is suspended. The hook and the sheath lightly strum the string. One must know that the left hand has no other choice. Pressing and rubbing leisurely. The traditional playing technique was to use the big, index, middle, and ring fingers of the right hand to pluck the strings to play the melody and grasp the rhythm. The left hand playing method was to adjust the tension of the strings and control the changes of the strings to adjust the pitch and perfect the melody. There were many finger techniques for the zither. The right hand had hook, hold, chop, pick, wipe, pick, hit, shake, pinch, and so on. The left hand had press, slide, rub, and vibrate. The traditional playing techniques of the zither had a new breakthrough in modern times. In 1953, Mr. Zhao Yuzhai created Harvest Year. He freed his left hand and used polyphonic techniques. He used alternating left and right hands and multi-part playing techniques. This greatly enriched the playing techniques and led to a breakthrough in the development of the zither. Han Bao didn't know how to play the zither. This was the information he found after searching. It's not for the number of words. Fei Lai realized that Chen Zhao was quite hardworking. After he started practicing, he immersed himself in the zither. Fei Lai couldn't take it anymore and went to sleep. Chen Zhao was still practicing. After Fei Lai went to rest, Chen Zhao ran to the river map to practice. In the river map, Chen Zhao had more time to learn and practice. He wouldn't disturb Fei Lai either. Where did you get the spiritual artifact? Old Turtle asked in surprise when he saw Chen Zhao walk in with the zither. Spiritual artifact. Don't you know? The zither was also a weapon in ancient times. There's also a saying that the zither is music and becomes a weapon on the spot. And then, using the zither to beat people? Chen Zhao rolled his eyes. You're right. It's for beating people. The ancient people's brains are a bit weird, Chen Zhao said. But what do you think this spiritual artifact is? For ordinary people in ancient times, the zither was used to beat people, but its pitch was like a weapon. It was sharper than other weapons, so some cultivators made it into a weapon for fighting. Can I kill people with music like in the movies? Chen Zhao's interest was immediately piqued. No. Old Turtle poured a bucket of cold water on Chen Zhao without hesitation. If you have enough cultivation, you can kill people with any musical instrument. If you don't, even if you have a loudspeaker, you won't be able to kill people with music. So what's this thing used for? To put it bluntly, this spirit artifact uses music to control weapons. How? Chen Zhao asked curiously. Here, I'll show you. Old Turtle took the zither and placed it before him. At the same time, he pointed with his finger. The pebble before him melted into lava. Under Old Turtle's control, the lava turned into 12 stone swords. Clang, clang. Old Turtle plucked the zither with his fingertip. The strings produced a sonorous sound. The 12 stone swords shook instantly. Chen Zhao raised an eyebrow. Old Turtle continued playing. The 12 stone swords started hacking and slashing around Old Turtle. It was as if there were 12 swordsmen wielding the stone swords and waving them around. Let me try too, Chen Zhao said impatiently. Old Turtle moved to let Chen Zhao sit. Chen Zhao tried to play, but the 12 stone swords stood there, unmoving. What's going on? Why isn't there a reaction? When you play, you need to pour in spiritual power and combine your willpower with the music. It's like you're controlling the swords with your hands. Chen Zhao tried again, his eyes fixed on the 12 stone swords. The 12 stone swords moved slightly, but they couldn't fly freely like Old Turtle. It still doesn't work, Chen Zhao complained. Old Turtle looked at Chen Zhao's posture and knew that he was new. You can't even play a song now and you want to control weapons? You're dreaming. It's just practice. Anyway, Chen Zhao was here to practice. Chen Zhao spent 3 days and could barely play a song. However, it was very simple. It was two tigers. How is it? Did I improve a lot? Chapter 935. Get up, get up. Are you singing or playing the zither? Old Turtle watched as Chen Zhao played two tigers and yelled. He was speechless. A sword flew up slowly, but it soon fell to the ground. Why is there no strength at all? Even if I control the sword to fly, I can't fight, right? First, since you're using music to control the weapon, you have to choose a strong and domineering style. Second, your willpower isn't compatible with the music. When your willpower is completely compatible with the music, it's like you're using the stone sword with both hands, Old Turtle said. Simply put, you lack practice. Practice more. This was what Old Turtle said the most. Qin Zhao also knew his weakness. After all, he was a beginner at the zither. He only knew the song Two Tigers. Not to mention that this song was not suitable for controlling weapons. Even if it was, Chen Zhao wouldn't use it to control weapons. Chen Zhao took out the music score. Apart from the basic fingering, there were only 3 songs left in the score. Fierce East Wind, Rising Waves, and Jackdaw Playing with Water. Chen Zhao had only heard of Jackdaw frolicking in the water. In fact, most people would be familiar with Jackdaw Playing with Water, because many classical movies and TV series used this song as background music. Jackdaw Playing with Water is interesting, Old Turtle said. How is it interesting? There's a cold sword technique hidden here, Old Turtle said. Old Turtle said, it's different from strong east wind and billowing waves. Both of them open and close aggressively, but Jackdaw Playing with Water is more repetitive. I don't understand. Do you know the story behind Jackdaw Playing with Water? No. The cold here refers to loneliness, the crow refers to inferiority, and playing with water refers to self-entertainment. It started in the early Qing dynasty. The scholars who submitted to the Qing dynasty were afraid of being punished by the Manchus, so they lived aimlessly. They didn't dare to talk when they saw each other or stop when they walked, afraid that they'd be killed. How come you know so much in the river map? This is the benefit of living for a long time. This song is different from the version I know. There is a cold killing intent hidden in it. Most likely, the cultivators who fought against the Qing dynasty and restored the Ming dynasty at that time integrated their thoughts and divine thoughts into it, resulting in this version. Chen Zhao started practicing day and night. After more than 10 days, he could barely play Fierce East Wind. In these 10 days, Chen Zhao only practiced the zither. He didn't try to control the stone sword. According to Old Turtle, if you wanted to control a weapon, you had to play the zither well first. It was like a toddler learning how to walk and wanting to run a track before he could even stand steadily. In fact, as long as one mastered the basic fingering and playing techniques, the rest was a matter of proficiency. For example, in movies and TV dramas, it was very difficult to play a song perfectly just by looking at the score. At least, Chen Zhao couldn't do it. He could still understand the basic melody and play it roughly. After about 100 days, Chen Zhao learned 3 songs. Now, try to integrate your spiritual energy and your willpower. Looking at the 12 stone swords before him, Chen Zhao started playing Fierce East Wind. Just like its name, Fierce East Wind's melody was fast and fierce, like a raging wind. The 12 stone swords flew into the air, but when they collided with each other, metal sparks flew. Attack me! Chen Zhao's fingers moved even faster. The melody suddenly became as fierce as a storm. Chen Zhao gradually found the feeling. He kept sending out spiritual energy and releasing it with the melody. The 12 stone swords flew toward Old Turtle. Hack slash stab pick slash hook. It was like 12 Chen Zhaos were controlling the stone swords. Old Turtle was Chen Zhao's training partner. Each sword had endless power, as if Chen Zhao was attacking with all his strength. Let's change to Rising Waves. The zither's melody changed. Rising Waves was even fiercer than Fierce East Wind. It was more suitable for Chen Zhao's aura. The controlled stone swords were also more powerful. Each slash was powerful. Every attack seemed like it was going to destroy the enemy. Great. Change to Jackdaw playing with water. If Fierce East Wind was said to be used to fight fiercely, then Billow's Rise was filled with the desire to destroy, as if everything would be smashed to pieces. But Jackdaw playing with water was a true killing technique. Under the control of the melody, Jackdaw playing with water was more like 12 warriors going to die. Their swords only existed to kill. 3 songs, 3 completely different styles. Old Turtle, what do you think? I can do what you can do too. Chen Zhao was very satisfied with the results of his 100 days of cultivation and training. Are you sure? Old Turtle glanced at Chen Zhao. I'm talking about the zither. For example, controlling the stone swords. If I use my full power, the zither probably can't handle my spiritual energy. Can't you let me be proud for once? Why should I let you be proud? Chen Zhao pouted. You're so boring. I'm not a human. Chen Zhao continued practicing. If he practiced these 3 songs to the point of perfection, it would at least be enough to kill people. Then he started practicing some other tunes, such as some familiar pop music. However, pop music didn't have that kind of murderous aura, so Chen Zhao really couldn't feel it. This practice lasted for 8 months. When he came out of the river map, 5 or 6 hours had passed outside. The next day, Fei Lai woke up from her sleep. She heard the melodious and beautiful zither music from outside. The melody was so beautiful that she was moved to tears. Fei Lai walked to the balcony and saw that Chen Zhao was sitting by the shore playing the zither. Disbelief was written all over Fei Lai's face. When she went to sleep last night, Chen Zhao couldn't even grasp the pitch. But in just one night, Chen Zhao could play such a beautiful melody. Fei Lai walked downstairs and came to Chen Zhao's side. When Chen Zhao finished, she asked, Chen, you learned how to play the zither in one night, and you're so good at it? Do you admire me a lot? Fei Lai rolled her eyes at Chen Zhao, but she was filled with pride. Chen, what's the song just now? The fisherman sings at night, Chen Zhao said. It's so nice. Fei Lai wasn't complimenting him. She really felt that the song was beautiful. A certain part of the song was also used as the background music for CCTV's weather forecast. It had been used for more than 30 years and hadn't changed. Chapter 936. There were still 3 days until Christmas. After a month, Chen Zhao came to hell again. This time, Chen Zhao told Fei Lai clearly. Otherwise, Fei Lai would blame him for disappearing for no reason again. Little handsome boy, sit down. The handsome guy looked at Chen Zhao, confused. Chen Zhao had just arrived in hell. Why did he want him to sit down? What was he doing? Chen Zhao also sat down before the guy and set up the zither. Because it's a holiday in the human world, I have to give each friend a gift. I don't know what you like, so I practiced this instrument from my hometown. I'll play it for you. The guy looked at Chen Zhao curiously. Chen Zhao started playing Fishing Boats at Night. This song had a very nice melody and was Chen Zhao's first choice. Of course, apart from this song, Chen Zhao had a few other songs. In the past few days, he did nothing but practice the zither every day. However, Chen Zhao didn't know if the guy liked Fishing Boats at Night or not. After all, everyone had different tastes and tastes. If the guy didn't like it, Chen Zhao would change to something else. After Chen Zhao finished the song, he realized that the guy was sitting cross-legged and staring blankly with one hand supporting his chin. Handsome, you don't like this style, right? The guy suddenly woke up and shook his head. No, I like this style. Thank you. The guy's smile was very bright, as expected of an angel of light. Even if it was just a smile, it would warm people's hearts. Remember what I promised you. Chen Zhao thought for a moment. You said you'll take me to eat hell's specialties. Yes, let's go. Just then, a black shadow flew over Chen Zhao's head, covering the sky. Chen Zhao looked up and saw a patch of black clouds. However, this black cloud came very suddenly, as if it had appeared out of nowhere. The next moment, the black cloud split open and a black dragon descended from the sky, landing heavily before Chen Zhao and the guy. So big! Chen Zhao's first thought was that it was big. How big was this black dragon? Chen Zhao had thought that Aura's body was big enough. But compared to this one, it was like the difference between a chick and an eagle. It was too big, like a black mountain falling before Chen Zhao. Chen Zhao even felt that he wouldn't be able to block the dust that the black dragon kicked up when it landed. The ground was shaking. The handsome guy held on to Chen Zhao. At the same time, he waved his hand in front of him and the dust dispersed. Don't tell me this is your mount. It's the projection of the ancestral dragon, the handsome boy said. Just a projection? If he was the ancestral dragon, Chen Zhao would believe it. The handsome guy brought Chen Zhao to the back of the ancestral dragon's projection. Even though he was just standing on the dragon's back, he could feel the power spreading under his feet. The power engulfed Chen Zhao's body. Perhaps the ancestral dragon's projection could kill him with a single thought. Of course, if he could overcome his fear, he could still experience the joy of standing on the back of a dragon. After about an hour, ancestral Gragon landed outside a city that was about the same size as him. After Chen Zhao and the handsome guy came down, ancestral Gragon left with a dragon roar. Chen Zhao and the handsome guy walked into the city and realized that there were many demons. Most of them were low-level demons or mixed-blood demons. Chen Zhao realized that the buildings in the city seemed to have been built temporarily. These are demons I collected from all over the world, the handsome boy said. They are either delicious or they possess delicious food. The handsome guy pointed at a demon kneeling on the ground, not far away. Take him, for example. He's a rare slap demon. Because his flesh and blood are very delicious, he was almost hunted to the brink of extinction. I also turned the entire hell upside down to find his tribe. The most delicious part of him is his heart. The handsome guy was about to kill him when Chen Zhao immediately stopped him. Don't. What? Don't you want to try this rare delicacy? You know that humans are very complicated creatures, right? We have a kind of fake kindness. It's hard for us to face other creatures dying in front of us. Even if they're food, if they're presented to us as food, we'll eat them without hesitation. So you're saying that it's okay as long as they don't die in front of you. Let him and his tribe go. After all, they're about to go extinct. There's a law in the human world that protects those creatures that are about to go extinct after being hunted by humans. It's to prevent a species from going extinct. It's indeed a strange idea. You Chinese should have a saying like this. Survival of the fittest, the handsome guy said. In hell, if a demon race goes extinct, it only means that the race isn't strong enough and has no value in existing. Humans are that complicated. That's why there's kindness and evil. Some believe in light and some believe in darkness. You think we demons are evil. I don't think we're evil. We're pure. I don't understand. The handsome guy looked at Chen Zhao in confusion. Actually, it's a difference in philosophy, Chen Zhao said. The rule of this world is survival of the fittest, Chen Zhao said. Every demon race has to learn to be cruel to adapt to this rule. Pure darkness isn't darkness anymore because of the rule. But you've never seen a truly evil human. Of course I've seen evil humans. Why do you think those souls have fallen into hell? Those souls that have committed heinous crimes will directly come before me and accept my judgment. Fine. These demons who were gathered here by the handsome little guy might not know his identity, but they knew that he was definitely a high and mighty demon. Facing such a superior, they didn't dare to resist. They accepted the handsome guy's order to trade here. Chen Zhao and the handsome guy stopped before a stall. The demon in the stall was a short one. There were some green fruits about the size of coconuts on his stall. Are these fruits delicious? Qin Zhao picked one up. Wait. The handsome guy couldn't stop him in time. The fruit had already opened its bloody mouth and jumped up, biting Chen Zhao's face. Chen Zhao forcefully pulled the fruit off. His face was covered in juice. What's this? Chapter 937. In this evil demon city, there were many things that looked strange or weird, but they were actually delicious. Chen Zhao also brought many local delicacies. He planned to bring them home for Fei Lai to try too. Before going back, the handsome guy gave Qin Zhao the lucky coin and substitute coin that he'd promised last time. Human, this is for you. The handsome guy placed a gem in Chen Zhao's hand. What's this gem for? Chen Zhao asked curiously. Resurrection gem. Can only be used once. It can make you immune to lethal damage for a short time. Your gift seems a bit expensive. Take it. Oh, Merry Christmas. A demon king told himself Merry Christmas. Why does this feel so weird? Chen Zhao returned to the human world with this weird feeling. Fei Lai, come in. I brought you good food. Hearing Chen Zhao's voice, Fei Lai immediately ran in. Fei Lai was already very greedy before she got pregnant. Now she was even more greedy. What good food? I'll take it out. Don't be scared. How can I be scared? I've seen everything. Fei Lai had also seen super disgusting or ugly monsters or extremely ferocious evil spirits. Therefore, Fei Lai felt that she could face everything calmly now. Qin Zhao took out the na fruit. Sensing Fei Lai beside him, the na fruit immediately opened its mouth, wanting to bite Qin Zhao. Fei Lai immediately screamed and ran away. What is this? See? You said you weren't scared. What is this? Fei Lai repeated the question. It's called a na fruit. It's a type of food. Of course, if you're not careful, you'll be eaten too. Can it be eaten? It looks weird, but it tastes really, really good. Really? Qin Zhao had the underlings cut it up and then brought it to Fei Lai. With a suspicious expression, Fei Lai didn't reach out to take it. Eat it. It's really good. Fei Lai finally gathered her courage and picked up a piece. After taking a bite, Fei Lai felt energized. The na fruit's flesh was really special. It tasted like meat, but wasn't. It was also extremely fresh and tender. It was sweet, but not greasy, with a faint meaty aroma. Isn't it delicious? Without needing Qin Zhao to say anything, Fei Lai had already finished the fruit and picked up another piece. Qin, can we plant this? Chen Zhao smiled bitterly. He'd thought about what Fei Lai was thinking too. However, this place didn't have the environment of hell, and it was very troublesome to grow the bite fruit. It had to be fed to living creatures, and it needed a lot of sulfur. Moreover, it would be very dangerous if the people around him accidentally passed by. If he was bitten, it would be the same as being bitten by a dog. It wouldn't kill, but it would cause significant damage to the body. So, Qin Zhao rejected this idea. If Fei Lai wanted to eat more, he could just get some the next time he went to hell. There was no need to grow such a dangerous plant at home. I still have a lot here, enough for you to eat. Is it enough? Fei Lai asked. Fei Lai felt that since it was already Christmas, therefore he had to choose some gifts to visit his friends and family. I thought about this when I came back, so I brought quite a lot, Qin Zhao said. But I have to cut them and wrap them up. If I give them whole, they'll be scared to death. Cut some more, Fei Lai said. I'll give them to people too. Okay. First, Qin Zhao and Fei Lai went to Ban's family. Because it was Christmas, Ken was on holiday too. The two of them stayed in Ban's house for a while before leaving. But then, they went their separate ways to give gifts. Stephen, are you at home? I'm here. Why? Do you want to come over? I'll give you some food. Fuck, you're too insincere. My food is very special. I guarantee you've never eaten it before. Really? Stephen knew that Chen Zhao had some special abilities, so he was instantly interested in his so-called special food. Chen Zhao went to Stephen's house and saw that Fantas and Evan were there too. Hi, Famtis and Evan. Mr. Chen. Ever since Famtis realized Chen Zhao's scary side, he was respectful every time he saw Chen Zhao. Chin, what kind of food are you giving me? Stephen asked eagerly as he walked out of the room. Chen Zhao took out a wrapped box and gave it to Stephen. Stephen opened the box and picked up a piece of fruit. In an instant, Stephen's eyes widened. What is this? This tastes, it's amazing, Olis. So delicious. Chen Zhao picked up a piece and tossed it to Evan. Famtis' face darkened. Mr. Chen, Evan doesn't eat fruit. But the next moment, Evan went up and picked up the fruit. He chewed a few times and swallowed it. Then, Evan looked at Chen Zhao expectantly. Famtis' eyes widened as he stared at Evan in shock. No way. Even his eating habits changed after seeing Chen Zhao. Damn, Chen, it's such a waste to give such a small amount of fruit to Evan, Stephen said with a pained expression. Chen Zhao took out another piece and gave it to Famtis. This is for you. Since Chen Zhao had seen Famtis, at least they knew each other, he wouldn't give her a piece. Famtis was somewhat stunned. He didn't know whether he should take it or not. Take it, Chen Zhao said. Even if you don't want it, Evan should be interested. Chin, what is this? It tastes so special. Where did you buy it? I'll go buy some too. There's no place to buy it. Apart from me, there's no other place. Don't think about asking for more. I don't have much either. I have to give it to someone else. I'll take Raspa's share for him. You can give it to me. Chen Zhao rolled his eyes. Oh, Famtis, can you go out for a while? I have something to talk to Stephen about. Okay, Mr. Chen. Seeing Chen Zhao's serious expression, Stephen didn't understand. Chin, what do you want to say? I heard that DSN has a movie called God of War. It's going to be released at the same time as James' movie, right? Yes, James is really unlucky to see this movie. DSN invited me to watch it during the test screening. It's really good. I hate the director of this movie, Chen Zhao said. You have a grudge against him? If James' movie suddenly becomes popular, will it affect God of War's box office? You want to. If God of War's box office fails, will DSN's stock be affected? It was the new year. Chen Zhao planned to earn some money for himself. You want to short DSN's stock price? Yes. How confident are you? Stephen asked. I'm confident that I can turn James around, but I'm not sure how much it will affect God of War's box office. Chapter 938. You want to help James? Stephen asked. Technically, my relationship with James isn't that good, Chen Zhao said. But the director of God of War humiliated me once and gave me $10. I've been keeping it ever since. Also, it's the new year. I want to earn some extra money. That's right, Chen Zhao said. This sentence made Stephen feel good all over. Chen Zhao said that his relationship with James wasn't that good. Since James had helped him, it meant that they were really close. You're still going to use that lucky coin? Stephen asked. Yes. You said that this lucky gold coin can only be used once. It's better to keep this lucky gold coin. Our new movie is about to start shooting and you'll be a part of it, Zhang Tai said. I still have it, Chen Zhao said. Don't worry. I won't forget our movie. Since you've decided, I'll call James over. Okay, call him over. A moment later, James arrived. Hi, Mr. Chen, Mr. Stephen, Merry Christmas. James wasn't in a good state of mind. He looked a little like Stephen back then. Chen Zhao and Stephen exchanged glances. James, your new movie is about to be released, right? Yes. James nodded with a bitter expression on his face. How is it? Do you have any expectations for the box office? Stephen asked. Mr. Stephen, are you kidding me? James smiled bitterly. Don't think about unpleasant things. We called you over this time because we want a drink, Stephen said. Mr. Stephen, I have to go back and watch the newly edited version. I'll send it to the theaters tomorrow. Drink with us, Stephen said. I'll edit it for you. James froze. Mr. Stephen, are you serious? Of course. I'm not joking. Then can I put your name on it? Sure. Stephen nodded. James felt like he was about to fly. Even though Stephen wasn't the director and was only an editor, he still had a huge influence on the movie. Moreover, Stephen's previous movie, Angry Sea Sheriff, had been edited by him. It was because of his own editing that there was such a godly movie. But there are only 3 days left before the screening. Furthermore, the film will be sent to the cinemas the day after tomorrow at the latest. Will you be able to edit it in time? Don't you believe me? Stephen said, I believe you, I believe you. For James, this was a blessing from the heavens. Chen Zhao and Stephen got James drunk. Then Chen Zhao took out a lucky coin. Chen Zhao grabbed James' finger and pierced it. He dripped a drop of blood onto the gold coin. That's it. It's not like you haven't used it before. Why are you asking such an amateur? All right, this kid is really lucky. Stephen stuffed the lucky coin into James' pocket. Chen Zhao continued to send gifts. He didn't have to worry anymore. Mr. Stephen, I heard that you are the editor of the new Christmas movie Animal Mart. Yes, is there a problem? But Director James should be your assistant director. Now that he's the director and you're his editor, do you think he has the right? Kid, this has nothing to do with qualifications. James is my friend. He's a very talented guy, so I'll help him to the best of my ability, Stephen said calmly. But I heard that this movie is only a small investment. Aren't you afraid of affecting your reputation? I'm Stephen. Why should I be afraid? Also, I don't think James will fail. I don't think I'll fail either. Mr. Stephen, I don't mean to doubt your knowledge in film, but this movie is not directed by you. Do you think the editing rights can affect the movie? First of all, I only took the job because James is good at the movie. If I thought it was a pile of shit and the movie was hopeless, I wouldn't have taken the job. Sonnenfeld hugged Sarah and watched Stephen's interview on TV. Honey, will Stephen's editing for Animal Mart affect the box office of God of War? Sarah asked worriedly. Sarah, you still don't understand movies. Stephen is too arrogant. He's a man, not a god. Sonnenfeld smiled, but his face was full of disapproval. Animal Mart will be a stain on his reputation. He'll be dragged down by the movie and humiliated. Just watch how God of War kills Animal Mart, Sonnenfeld said proudly. If it was Stephen's movie, he wouldn't dare to say such words. But Stephen was only in charge of editing. Moreover, editing a movie was not something that could be done in 3 to 5 days. It could easily take a month or 2 to watch the movie over and over again. Then they would make the final movie that the audience would see in the cinema. The news that Sonnenfeld received was that Stephen had accepted the job of editing 2 days ago in the nick of time. The way he saw it, Stephen didn't take this job just to edit James' Animal Mart. He just wanted James to borrow his name and his box office appeal. That's good, Sonnenfeld said, his eyes shining. If my movie succeeds, I'll send some scripts to the media. That way, everyone will think that I beat Stephen in box office. Then, for my next movie, I'll be paid several times more. Then, I'll be the female lead in your next movie, right? Of course, baby. I'll tailor a script for you. You'll become a superstar that everyone pays attention to, the darling of international fashion brands. That's great. I knew you'd treat me well. Sarah was overjoyed. You're much better than that useless James. In what way? In every way. Sarah had already turned around and was on top of Sonnenfeld. After some time, the two planned to go out for dinner. Suddenly, they saw a man walking over with a big black dog. The two immediately recognized him as Chen Zhao. What bad luck. I can't believe I met this Asian here. Sonnenfeld's face was full of disdain. As for what Chen Zhao had said to him that day, he didn't take it to heart at all. With a smile, Chen Zhao said, Isn't this the famous director? Do you live here? Chapter 939. Trust me. Soon, you won't be able to afford this place. Chen Zhao was full of smiles. Oh, I just passed by and saw a homeless camp. You can go there and find an empty space. You'll need it. Fuck, if you don't get out of my sight, I'll call the police to arrest you. Don't be so excited. I don't want to appear before you either. But I believe we'll meet again. Chen Zhao turned and left with a smile. Darling, don't waste time talking to such a lowly person. Let's go eat dinner. I'm starving. Of course. Sonnenfeld calmed himself down. But as soon as they got in, they realized that the car wouldn't start. Damn, I just bought this car. Why is there a problem? Sonnenfeld roared angrily. Let's call a taxi. Okay. Sonnenfeld's mood turned bad. Master, who should we give the money we absorbed from that guy? It's really windy today. Isn't there a homeless camp up ahead? Let's go give it to the homeless there and let them have a relaxing Christmas. After that, we'll hurry back. Chen Zhao didn't like this kind of lukewarm wind. It felt cool on his body, but he didn't feel cold. Instead, it gave him goosebumps. Those homeless won't be able to get all the money. That guy has over $10 million. According to Black Ma's rules, if one didn't have enough money, they would have to pay the same price. Then, they would have to pay an equivalent price for the amount of money they received. Then let's see someone and give them some money. Chen Zhao and Black Ma gave each other money as they walked. Just then, there was the urgent sound of a police siren. Chen Zhao turned around and saw that it was a car chase and a gunfight. Just then, the police in the police car hit the car wheels of the criminals. The car lost control and crashed into a stone block on the side of the road. Bang! Then, a large amount of cash spilled out of the car window. A gust of wind blew, and the money danced in the air. Fuck! Did these robbers rob a bank vault? Chen Zhao looked at the banknotes flying in the air. They had already covered the entire street. The police in the police car were also dumbfounded. They couldn't do anything now. Chen Zhao touched his chin. Was this Black Ma's power? Chen Zhao had used Black Ma's ability once before, but at that time it wasn't very clear. Black Ma's ability was not an offensive spell. Therefore, no one knew if it was the effect of its ability. But this time, Chen Zhao experienced Black Ma's ability in the most direct way. Black Ma might not be the strongest, but he was not weak either. Chen Zhao returned home and started decorating. Although Chen Zhao wasn't interested in Christmas, Fei Lai was an American. Therefore, the family still needed a festive atmosphere. His original plan was to have a party tomorrow. But then he learned from Fei Lai that the Americans basically wouldn't visit on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Just like the Chinese Spring Festival, people didn't go out on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. This was good as well. They didn't have to disturb others during the festival, and no one would disturb them. Cam, let's go watch a movie. I don't want to. The Christmas movies are all family movies. It's too boring. Dylan, are you interested in this kind of movie? Don't you admire Mr. Steven the most? There's a Christmas movie that Mr. Steven personally directed and edited. Oh? Which movie? Animal Mart. The director is Mr. Steven's assistant director. Then let's go watch. Cam and his friend went to the theater and bought 2 tickets. Entering the theater, Graham and his friend found that there were quite a lot of people in the theater. I feel like this movie is very ordinary. After watching for 5 minutes, Cam got bored. How disappointing. I was looking forward to something different. It seems like any movie that isn't directed by Mr. Steven is boring. Why doesn't Mr. Steven shoot one himself? Being an editor doesn't reflect his ability at all. 4, 5. Dylan, what are you counting? Didn't you notice? There have been 5 Easter eggs since the start of the movie. Now it's the 6th one. The 6th one. Cam looked at the plot in confusion. Suddenly, he realized that the plot was paying homage to a certain scene in a classic movie. Moreover, the plot was handled very well. It didn't feel out of place at all. Looks like this director is quite capable. This new director is a complete Easter egg maniac. The 8th one. No, the 10th one. Where's the 10th one? I only saw 8. Didn't you notice? The conversation between the male and female leads just now contained 2 Easter eggs. Oh my God, it's only been 10 minutes, and there are already 10 Easter eggs. How many Easter eggs are hidden in the entire movie? Interesting, this scene is too interesting. There are 3 Easter eggs hidden in this scene. Really? I just noticed one. No, it's 5, an audience member in the back suddenly said in a low voice. The two couldn't help but turn to the audience member. Are you sure? It contains Titanic, Bridges on the Bridge, The Godfather, RoboCop, and Superman. This movie can be said to be made up of Easter eggs. It's a very special movie, the unknown audience member said. Every line and every scene in the movie might have a special meaning. Even I can't completely understand it. So interesting. The director is very good, but the editing is even better. It's a strong team. Hey, Mr. Steven is actually in this movie. I didn't hear anything about it before. Just then, the retired policeman played by Steven appeared. He also met his nemesis in the movie. The two passed by each other in the supermarket. The retired policeman keenly sensed the abnormality of the villain and followed him. Mr. Steven and the villain are completely independent of the plot. They're both characters in the movie. And did you notice that the villain didn't show his face from beginning to end? There were a few minutes of footage, but he wasn't shown his face. The editor must have a grudge against the villain. Definitely, because Mr. Steven is the editor. Look how badly the villain beat Mr. Steven. Chapter 940. Did you notice that the thing that the villain threw at Steven's retired cop was a movie prop? It was the head of the Terminator. They're so interesting. The movie ended with the villain being stabbed to death by Steven's character. Of course, the two of them had their own plots. But the highlight of the movie was the Easter eggs. Easter eggs were everywhere. Perhaps an action with a line would be a line from a movie. How many Easter eggs did you find? 103. I only found 53. How come we're so short? No, I want to watch it again. I want to know which Easter eggs I missed. I want to watch it again, too. I think there were many missing Easter eggs the first time. Just then, a group of people walked out of the theater. A couple walked out. Honey, what do you think of God of War? Not bad. The special effects are great. The girl obviously didn't like this kind of movie as much as the guy. I think it's boring. It's still early. How about we find another movie to watch? Sure, what do you like to watch? Let's watch Animal Mart. I like Steven's movies. He filmed this? The boy clearly didn't know much about movies. No, he's just an editor. The director is Steven's original assistant director. After 100 minutes, the movie ended and the couple walked out of the theater. I love this movie so much, the girl said excitedly. It's so interesting. I was looking for Easter eggs the whole time. How many did you find? The boy asked. We found a total of 43 Easter eggs. What? There are 43 Easter eggs? Why did I only find 25? That means you don't know Hollywood well enough, the girl said. Just then, another audience member who came out of the same theater said, You only found 40-something? I found 103 on the first time. The couple exclaimed, There are that many? The second time, there are 11 more. That's 114 Easter eggs. Honey, let's watch it again. Okay, I want to see what other Easter eggs I haven't found. Please give me 2 tickets for the movie Animal Mart. I'm sorry, sir and madam, Animal Mart is full. The ticket seller at the ticket office said, God of War is not bad. Are you interested? Animal Supermarket is selling so well. It's mainly because the number of screenings for Animal Mart is too small, the ticket seller said. A movie like God of War is too boring. There's no plot at all, the woman said. Then are you sure that Animal Mart is good? The man was a little doubtful. Haven't you heard? It's already been exposed on the internet. This movie is called a magical movie. It's said that the entire movie is filled with Easter eggs. The woman said, I really don't understand why the cinema would give the screening room to a movie like God of War. At this moment, the ticket seller received a call. After a while, the ticket seller said, Due to the adjustment of the movie theater, there are already tickets for Animal Mart available. Do you want them? However, before the two of them could reply, a few people squeezed in from behind. I want. Don't push. We were here first. James, sit down. Let's drink. Stephen and Raspa were sitting there, drinking, while James paced around uneasily. James, don't worry, Raspa said. Even if this movie loses money at the box office, I can promise you that you'll have a second movie. Of course, he was also doing this for Stephen's sake. Stephen rolled his eyes. Raspa, do you believe that James's movie will definitely earn more than $1 billion at the box office? Both Raspa and James replied to Stephen by rolling their eyes. Mr. Stephen, don't joke around. I'll be satisfied with $100 million at the box office. Do you want to make a bet? Stephen said, grinning. What bet? I'll bet with you, Raspa said. Let's bet on your purple brew, Stephen said. I don't have any more purple brew. Stephen rolled his eyes. Don't fool me. Every time I go near the cellar, you purposely pull me away. Let's change the bet, Raspa said. Weren't you so confident in your speculation? Why aren't you betting now? Just then, James's phone rang. James immediately picked it up. After a while, James hung up. His expression softened. How is it? Is the real-time box office out? Yes. The box office in the 3 hours in the morning was $15 million. The box office from 12 to 1 in the afternoon was $58 million. Surprised, Raspa put down the glass in his hand. What was the pre-show box office last night? For $3 million US. So you're saying that you have almost 23 million in just half a day? At this rate, you should be able to get around 40 million on the first day, Raspa said. For a movie with a small investment, the box office is definitely not bad. It can even be profitable. Oh, what's the real-time box office for God of War? Stephen asked. What's the current total? I haven't asked. It should be twice as much as my movie. The pre-show box office last night already reached 13 million. That's the standard for a top movie. Honey, what's the real-time box office for God of War? It's already past 30 million, Sonnenfeld said proudly. Sonnenfeld proudly said, according to this development trend, the box office can reach $80 million on the first day. Although the box office was far from the record, it was still something to be proud of. Oh, how much did that trash's Pet Mart earn? I don't know, but it definitely won't be that high, Sonnenfeld said disapprovingly. Is the champagne ready? We can already celebrate in advance. Of course, the champagne is ready, Sarah said. Honey, do you have plans for your next movie? Baby, there's no rush. When the box office of my new movie comes out, we'll talk to DSN. That way, I can help you get a higher salary. Honey, you're so nice. Just then, an urgent ringing of the phone interrupted the two's intimacy. Sonnenfeld picked up the phone unhappily. This is Sonnenfeld. Who is it? Sonnenfeld. Come to the company's headquarters immediately. Now, immediately. Chapter 941. Tyrese, the chairman of DSN. But in Hollywood, Tyrese had another title. This title was very similar to Stephen's. Stephen was the tyrant on the set. Tyrese was the tyrant of Hollywood. Sonnenfeld was no longer as proud as before. He answered the phone timidly. Don't ask so many questions. Come here immediately. Yes, Mr. Tyrese. Sonnenfeld had no confidence in facing Tyrese. In the whole of Hollywood, other than the chairman of the other big six, perhaps only people of Stephen's level or other older people in the entertainment industry could say no to Tyrese. When Sonnenfeld arrived at the company, he found that the conference room was filled with the main cast of God of War. Mr. Tyrese. Sonnenfeld greeted him and took his seat. At this moment, the assistant picked up a document. Mr. Sonnenfeld, the box office of God of War started to plummet since an hour ago. On the contrary, the box office of Animal Mart produced by PLM, is steadily rising. Currently, the difference between the two is only $10 million US. God of War is still in the lead for now, but if the box office continues to develop at this rate, it will be overtaken by Animal Mart in about 2 hours. That's impossible. Animal Supermarket only has 5% of the screenings, and the filming budget of Animal Supermarket, including the publicity budget, is only $40 million US, while God of War has a budget of $250 million US. The two are not on the same level at all. How can Animal Supermarket surpass God of War in the box office? That's where the problem lies. Tyrese said calmly, although Animal Mart was released at the same time as God of War in less than a day, there are already super high ratings online. Mr. Tyrese, you should also know that professional film critics' ratings do not represent the box office. Many times a low reputation can be exchanged for a high box office. I think this is PLM's strategy. They bribed film critics to improve their reputation. I think this is only a temporary improvement. Soon, more people will watch the movie and pull down the score. You still don't understand. Animal Mart is not a professional film critic's rating. It is the audience's rating. Besides, Animal Mart has now become a hot topic. Whether it is on search engines or on social media, there are a lot of positive topics. Tyrese looked at Sonnenfeld. You should understand what it means for God of War if the two of them lose on the first day. The investment, expectations, and even popularity of the two movies were several times different. If God of War didn't become the box office champion on the first day, it would be disastrous for God of War. Public opinion would completely lean towards Animal Supermarket, and at the same time, it would also criticize God of War. In Hollywood, there was a phenomenon called the word-of-mouth effect. For example, Avatar 10 years ago or Sea Patrol this year were all products of the word-of-mouth effect. In fact, this kind of word-of-mouth effect was similar to the so-called tap water in China. It was a large number of positive reviews that would attract the audience to the cinema. The cinema chains would also adjust the number of screenings, increasing the number of screenings for Animal Supermarket and reducing the number of screenings for other films. Of course, they wanted to squeeze out God of War screenings. I should have known. I really shouldn't have believed in a trash like you. You can't even compare to Steven's assistant director. Mr. Tyrese, Mr. Steven helped James with the editing. Sonnenfeld finally found an excuse. Steven's influence and ability are undeniable, but if James didn't have the ability to shoot good scenes and shots, Steven wouldn't have been able to edit anything good. So, in the end, it's all about ability, Tyrese said emotionlessly. Just then, the assistant's phone rang. The assistant picked it up. After a while, he leaned over and whispered a few words in Tyrese's ear. Tyrese's face instantly became gloomy. The real-time box office of Animal Supermarket has surpassed God of War again. $40 million of investment versus $250 million of investment. 5% of the screenings versus 60% of the screenings had actually lost in the real-time box office. This kind of heaven-defying gap was completely unimaginable. Is that Animal Supermarket really that good? Boss, Animal Supermarket, was originally adapted from a real story. It has its own IP popularity, the assistant said. The assistant said, secondly, Mr. Stevens' influence also played a crucial role. Of course, the most important thing is that this movie has 0 negative reviews in the first 100 reviews. In a survey of 1,000 people, the positive rating is above 95%. There are also many topics of discussion. For example, Mr. Stevens' first appearance on the big screen and his request for the villain to show his face. There are also scenes within scenes and Easter eggs. These are all highly discussed topics. Damn it. Why is there such a hot topic in a movie with a small investment? Tyrese roared, gritting his teeth. Rasfa, that old thing really found a treasure. Go and contact James and see if he's willing to cooperate with our company. This year was destined to be a bumper year for PLM. Stevens' movie had created history and a miracle. But who would have thought that an unknown director would amaze the world with a single brilliant feat and throw another bomb at the whole of Hollywood at the end of the year? Boss, our company's stock price has fluctuated and is beginning to fall slightly. Tyrese had already thought of this, but he still said calmly, now it's just speculators selling. When the box office of the first day comes out tomorrow, our company's stock will usher in a greater decline. Be prepared. In fact, with the size of DSN, the failure of a movie would not cause too much of a blow to the company. It would not even be a serious blow to the company, but the stock price would definitely fall. For some major shareholders, they still valued the value of the shares themselves. DSN's shares could allow them to do whatever they wanted in Hollywood, but some small shareholders would definitely keep an eye on the stock price. If the stock price fell by 1%, it was equivalent to losing 1% of their net worth. This was what they were most concerned about. At that time, at the shareholders' meeting, Tyrese would also be attacked by more shareholders. It might even shake his current position. This was the biggest impact. And the biggest problem was that God of War was originally produced as the vanguard of the trilogy. But now DSN was in a very awkward situation. Continue shooting the second and third movies? Chapter 942. 86 million. James' expression froze. Raspa also froze. It was 10:20 at night. Animal Mart's box office had exceeded 86 million so far. It had a chance to exceed 90 million by midnight. For a Super A movie, this number was at most a passable number. But for a movie with a small investment, this number was enough to make everyone laugh their heads off. One had to know that Animal Supermarket only had 5% of the screenings. This meant that the movie's occupancy rate was close to 90%. Otherwise, it wouldn't be able to reach this level of box office. In the afternoon, Raspa had thought that as long as James didn't lose his investment, even a small one, it would be acceptable. Who would have thought that the movie would be so popular? It wasn't as popular as Steven's previous movie, but it was definitely an outstanding result. Mr. Steven, I really don't know how to thank you. James thanked Steven from the bottom of his heart. In his opinion, if Steven hadn't helped him edit the movie, it definitely wouldn't have such a good result. Chin asked me to help you, Steven said. If you want to thank someone, thank him. Mr. Chin? But why? He seems to have a grudge with your ex-wife, Steven said. And the director of God of War seems to have a grudge with him too. Oh? The director of God of War is called Sonnenfeld, right? Raspa asked. That's right, Steven said. They know each other. Chin and Fei Lai went to Marina's restaurant and ran into Sonnenfeld and James' ex-wife. They humiliated Chun in front of everyone and even gave him $10. Chin didn't kill Sonnenfeld on the spot. In their impression, Chen Zhao was known for his bad temper. The next day, Pet Mart's box office increased again. At the same time, DSN's stock price fluctuated too. It dropped by 2% in one day. DSN was the largest movie company in the world. This didn't include other industries outside of Hollywood. Its market value was over $100 billion. A 2% drop meant that $2 billion had been lost. Actually, if it was just God of War's failure, it wouldn't have such a huge impact. The main reason was that God of War was the beginning of a series of movies. Now that the first movie had failed miserably, even though the sequel had yet to start filming, some investments had already been made. This caused these early investments to become an uncertain factor. Continue filming the sequel? What if it fails like the first series? If they stopped filming, the loss would be even more direct. It was precisely because of this kind of bad news, coupled with people with ulterior motives who added fuel to the fire. As a result, Disney's stock price fluctuated significantly. Chen, hold on for half a day tomorrow, Steven said. Sell your stocks tomorrow afternoon. I got it. Chen Zhao wasn't greedy. He was satisfied that he could earn a few $1,000,000. This kind of opportunity was rare. It was already a rare opportunity to encounter it once a year. DSN won't sit back and watch the stock fall. So they've started to take action, Stephen said. Oh, how did they do it? Tomorrow, they will release the news that I will be taking over the God of War series. Will you take it over? No, I don't have any business relationship with DSN. Also, their terms are too domineering. Even I can't get enough power, so I won't work with them unless they lower their stance, like other film companies. So you're just going to let them use your name to pull up the stock? They told me beforehand. Chen Zhao immediately understood that it was an exchange of benefits. But this wasn't surprising. No wonder Stephen knew when DSN stock would rise so accurately. Because Chen Zhao was buying short-term stocks. He was going to short them directly. First, he would borrow DSN stocks from the dealer and sell them to the market. Then, after the stock fell, he would go to the market and buy the scattered stocks to return to the dealer. The difference in the middle, after deducting the interest, was Chen Zhao's profit. Chen Zhao didn't really play stocks. He only had a general idea. The risk of directly shorting was very high because there were too many fake and real news mixed in the market. If he wasn't completely confident, Chen Zhao wouldn't put tens of millions of dollars into the market. Usually, going short was the specialty of the big capitalists. This time, Chen Zhao had Stephen guiding him step by step. Stephen might not be a financial giant, but he had a team that helped him manage his assets. Anyway, if Stephen wanted him to buy, he would buy. If Stephen wanted him to sell, he would sell. Chin, after DSN announces the good news tomorrow afternoon, the stock should rise a bit. You can use this chance to make some money. I'll clarify the news in 2 weeks. Chen Zhao understood. The risk of going short was too high and he wouldn't make much money. But if he bought the stock to rise, with Stephen there, the stock would definitely rise by quite a bit. With leverage, it wouldn't be a problem to make $10 or $20 million. This was also the reason why DSN and Stephen were exchanging benefits. Small investors were small investors. They would never be able to beat capitalists. This was the reason. Capitalists only needed to announce a piece of news and the stock would rise and fall. Without Stephen's cooperation, Chen Zhao would probably still foolishly think that DSN stock would continue to fall. By then, he might even lose a lot of money. Of course, since he didn't use leverage, he wouldn't make much money, but he wouldn't lose much either. Mr. Sonnenfeld, the stock you invested in is almost at a loss. I suggest you stop your losses immediately. The call was from Sonnenfeld's stock manager. Sonnenfeld almost spat out a mouthful of blood. He had bet on his house, car, and around $1 million in cash. He thought that after his movie God of War was released, DSN stock would definitely rise. In the end, he became a stock killer. Not only did the stock not rise because of God of War, it fell instead. How much money do I have in my account? Less than $3 million. Buy it down, buy it down. Buy it down with all your money. Sonnenfeld yelled. Based on the current trend, DSN stock will continue to fall for a few days. Use leverage. Mr. Sonnenfeld, it's very risky to short with leverage. Cut the crap. I've already lost nearly $10 million. I can't lose anymore. I have to earn back my losses. Sonnenfeld couldn't think of any way for DSN to pull up the stock. Chapter 943. Chin, you can stop shorting stocks now. Stephen gave Chen Zhao another call. Okay, got it. DSN stock had fallen by 4% compared to 3 days ago. For Chen Zhao, it was only $3 or $4 million. But for DSN, it was billions of dollars gone. DSN was a big company, but it couldn't withstand such a speed of evaporation. Of course, there was a limit to the drop. After all, a movie's box office failure couldn't really shake DSN. If it was something like PLM, it was also one of the big six, but it was much smaller than DSN. Therefore, PLM's box office would fluctuate greatly because of a movie's box office. They'll release the news at around 3 in the afternoon. You can buy some stocks beforehand. Okay, got it. Chen Zhao nodded. Chen Zhao's shorting was too risky. Usually, big investors would take the initiative to short. They would buy a lot first and then sell, creating panic in the market and forcing the individual investors away. Then they would cut the sheep. Chen Zhao's was completely relying on luck. Even if he had reliable information that DSN stock would fall, there was no guarantee of how much it would fall or how long it would last. There was no guarantee of how much it would fall or how long it would last. Once DSN reacted and released some good news, the stock would rise again. "Ha! See? I told you it would fall," Sonnenfeld said proudly. "Mr. Sonnenfeld, 50 times leverage is too risky. You've already recovered your capital. There's no need to continue." "No, continue," Sonnenfeld said. "I'll stop before the market closes today." It wasn't easy to make $1 or $2 million a day. Continue shorting DSN. Okay. Sonnenfeld was already immersed in his fantasy. Fill my ass. I can't make as much money as stocks. As long as I have money, I can invest in my own movie. Then, I'll show those who look down on me what I'm capable of. I'll use my next movie to prove my ability. Just then, Sonnenfeld's phone rang again. "What is it now?" "Mr. Sonnenfeld, DSN stock went up." "What? Then why are you calling me? Hurry up and stop!" Sonnenfeld exclaimed. "It's too late. We've already lost everything." "What? How is that possible?" "That's a few $1,000,000, Sonnenfeld said. Since the opening of the market, his original capital had increased several times. How could he suddenly lose all of his capital? "Sir, 50 times leverage is a huge risk to begin with. Just a small increase will clear all the funds," Sonnenfeld said. "But how? How much did DSN's stock go up?" 3%. "How is this possible?" Sonnenfeld still couldn't accept this result. According to the news released by DSN, Mr. Steven will take over the filming of the sequel of God of War. "You can't do this, you can't do this. I am the director of this series, it's me." Sonnenfeld roared, "This job is mine. DSN can't do this. Tyrese can't do this to me. Right? Call Tyrese." Sonnenfeld dialed Tyrese's number. "Mr. Tyrese, we agreed on it and even signed a contract. I will direct the God of War trilogy. What you are doing now is a violation of the contract. I am going to sue you." "Sonnenfeld, you have to understand that because of you, DSN's hundreds of millions of dollars of investment went down. You even caused DSN's stock to fall. You still want to direct the sequel of God of War? Don't even mention continuing to direct God of War. No one will even want you as an assistant director. DSN will ban you, and you won't be able to get a single movie in Hollywood. You can't do this to me. I have a contract. You're violating the contract. I want compensation. Haha. That's a contract of intent, not a formal contract. Go ahead and sue me." Terrence sneered. He hadn't even finished the first movie. It was impossible for him to confirm the directors for the second and third movies. A mature company couldn't be so childish. A contract of intent had no legal effect. To put it bluntly, it was no different from a conversation at a wine table. If Sonnenfeld's God of War was successful, he would naturally become the director of the second and third sequels. But if the first movie failed, Sonnenfeld would only be a scapegoat. After venting for a while, Sonnenfeld finally sat down on the floor. His career was ruined because of this movie. Because of this gamble, he had completely lost all his assets. It was over. Everything was over. Just then, there was the sound of a car, horn downstairs. Sonnenfeld looked out the window. It was an unfamiliar car. Just then, a woman got out of the car. Sonnenfeld saw that the woman was very beautiful. He thought that she might be here to ask him for help. Sonnenfeld went downstairs and opened the door. "Miss, are you looking for me?" "On behalf of the bank, I'm detaining your house," Amira said to Sonnenfeld. "What? Detaining? What do you mean?" "Your house has been mortgaged to our bank. We've checked your account and found that there's no money in it. So now, this house belongs to the bank. If you can't pay the bank back within 3 months, we have the right to auction this house to pay off the money you owe the bank." Wait, I'm a little tight on money now, but I'm a director, a famous director in Hollywood. I have enough credibility and fame. I'm fully capable of paying off the money I owe the bank. You can't just detain my house so suddenly. I'm sorry, Sonnenfeld. This house doesn't belong to you now, Amira said calmly. Please move out before it gets dark. I refuse. Sonnenfeld's attitude was firm. Amira smiled and snapped her fingers. A dozen burly men came in. I don't care if you agree or not. You guys wait here and give Mr. Sonnenfeld some time to prepare. If he doesn't plan to leave before 5 o'clock, you guys can help him move out. Sonnenfeld picked up the phone. Sarah, I want to stay at your place for a few days. Is that convenient for you? Sonnenfeld, I'm not in Los Angeles right now. If you have anything to say, please tell me when I come back. That's all. I still have things to do. Goodbye. Chapter 944. Sarah was a very practical woman. Back then, she could leave James and the second director. Now, she could leave Sonnenfeld. She wasn't very famous now, but she knew how to protect herself. Sonnenfeld couldn't even protect himself now. Of course, she wouldn't go through thick and thin with him. She wasn't the only one who flew away in the face of disaster. Tyrese's ban had been issued. Everyone who Sonnenfeld had once been involved withdrew a clear line with him. Night was approaching. Sonnenfeld didn't even have money to call a taxi. He suddenly sat in front of his house. All his belongings were piled outside. In just 2 or 3 days, he'd lost everything. Just then, a figure appeared before Sonnenfeld. Sonnenfeld looked up and saw the smiling face. Chun Zhao was standing before Sonnenfeld. What are you doing here? Chun Zhao took out the $10 bill. I said that I'd personally return this to you soon. Chun Zhao tossed the bill in front of Sonnenfeld. Sonnenfeld's expression was very ugly. Also, I remember that a few days ago, I told you that you need to find an empty space in the homeless camp. It's you. It's you. Sonnenfeld roared and pounced at Chun Zhao. He didn't know why, but he felt that Chun Zhao had done all this. Chun Zhao's words kept echoing in his mind. If Chun Zhao had nothing to do with it, he wouldn't have said those words. However, Chun Zhao casually pushed him to the ground. It's all your witchcraft, right? You demon, you monster! Give me back everything, give it back to me. Chun Zhao stepped on Sonnenfeld's chest. You asked for it. You asked for it. A car stopped before Chun Zhao and Sonnenfeld. The window rolled down. Sonnenfeld saw Stephen in the car. Mr. Stephen, help me. Help me. This barbarian, he wants to kill me. Stephen glanced at Sonnenfeld and then at Chun Zhao. Chun, you're such a bully. Hearing Stephen's words, Sonnenfeld's expression became even uglier. Then, he thought about how Stephen had accepted to be an editor for James' movie after he had offended Chun Zhao. At this moment, Sonnenfeld finally understood that he had offended someone more influential than him. And it was all for a vain woman. He had lost everything. At this time, another woman in her 20s walked over. He saw Sonnenfeld on the ground, Chun Zhao in front of him, and Stephen in the car. Father. The woman ran over quickly. Who are they? Sonnenfeld lowered his head. I'm fine. Why are you here? I heard something happened to you. Come home with me. The woman was very cautious of Chun Zhao. She could tell that her father and this man, as well as Stephen in the car, were in different states. It looked more like they were bullying their own father. Dad, did they bully you? No. I'm really fine, Sonnenfeld said. That's great. You actually have a daughter. Chun Zhao watched as the father and daughter left, supporting each other. Oh, you lost your money. Aren't you going to pick it up? Mr. Sonnenfeld. Sonnenfeld paused and turned his head to look at Chun Zhao, his eyes filled with fear. Dad. Sonnenfeld's daughter stared at Chun Zhao angrily. She could feel that Chun Zhao was forcing her father. Sonnenfeld turned his head silently. He picked up the $10 bill and stuffed it back into his pocket. Dad, did he threaten you? Tell me not to be afraid of him. No, really. Sonnenfeld did not want his daughter to mess with this man. Because of that conflict, he had gone bankrupt. He did not think that his daughter would do anything if this man targeted her. Chen Zhao got into Stephen's car. Fantas was driving. Chin, how do you plan to take revenge on Sonnenfeld? That's it. I've already made him bankrupt and humiliated him. That's enough. Chen Zhao did not want to continue this topic. Oh, do you have any plans for New Year's? No, Stephen asked. Do you have any plans? I plan to hold a party. All my friends can come to my house. Drink as much as you want, and there'll be a lot of food, Chen Zhao said. Fantas, you can come too. Fantas's heart jumped. She knew how expensive Chen Zhao's wine was. She also knew how delicious Chen Zhao's food was. Americans usually celebrated Thanksgiving and Christmas as a family, but they liked to get together to welcome the new year on New Year's. However, Fantas still waited for Stephen's answer. After all, she was Stephen's bodyguard. If Stephen did not go, she could not go either. Sure, Stephen agreed readily. Mr. Chin, can I bring Evan? Of course, Chen Zhao replied. Evan is welcome, Chen Zhao replied. Oh, help me call James. I can't get through to him for the past 2 days. He turned off his phone on purpose, Stephen said. His movie is a hit. All the movie companies are contacting him now. Can he come on New Year's Eve? I'm afraid not. He's busy with publicity, Stephen said. He should be abroad now. That's a pity. Chen Zhao shrugged. How much is his movie's box office now? The North American box office has reached $300 million, and it's still rising. How much will it reach? The box office in North America has a chance of reaching $800 million, Stephen estimated. Much worse than you, Chen Zhao said, but it was understandable. The lucky coin was not the kind of ability that could grant all wishes. Instead, it could fully unleash the user's abilities. There was still a large gap between Stephen's abilities and James. Oh, Chin, I plan to find a Chinese actor to play your role. You're Chinese. Do you have any recommendations? No, don't ask me about that. I've never cared about celebrities in the entertainment industry, whether they're from China or Hollywood. Based on your fame, you can contact the companies in China. I'm sure they'll recommend their actors to you one after another. Stephen's name was very influential all over the world, whether it was in Hollywood or other countries' entertainment circles. Chapter 945. Fei Lai really enjoyed the festive atmosphere. It wasn't the process. It was the feeling that the entire world was filled with blessings. Everyone called and wished her a happy holiday. As for Zhilin, all kids liked holidays. Zhilin was no exception. Chen Zhao could understand Fei Lai and Zhilin. Princess and Walter liked it too. Chen Zhao could understand too, because they had good food. Underlings also liked holidays because they had things to do during the holidays. For underlings, having a sense of existence was very important. They needed to work to gain a sense of existence. But why did Samuel like it too? He talked about conquering the world every day, but why did he only see a salted fish? He was completely addicted to catnip and couldn't stop himself. In the entire family, Chen Zhao was the only one who didn't feel anything about holidays. He wasn't the only one who didn't feel anything about Christmas. He didn't even look forward to Chinese New Year, like people of the same generation. Of course, he would still show his passion to his family and make it seem like he really enjoyed the holidays. Chen Zhao was willing to accommodate his family instead of making them think that he didn't like holidays so that they would accommodate him. Holidays should have a festive atmosphere. It was Chen Zhao's own problem, not the fault of those who loved holidays. Chen, when is China's New Year? About 2 months, Chen Zhao said. Fei Lai was definitely a holiday maniac. Christmas had just passed, and she was already thinking about the New Year. It's in early February. How do we spend it? How do we spend it? Chen Zhao couldn't answer this question. According to Chinese traditions, it was to set off firecrackers, give lucky money, eat dumplings, watch the Spring Festival Gala, and visit relatives. This was how Chinese celebrated the New Year. In the South, they didn't eat dumplings. There was also a tradition in some areas that children under 1 year old wouldn't be given lucky money. Lucky money meant to suppress one's age, so it wasn't a good sign to give lucky money to children. Qin Zhao chatted with Fei Lai about the customs of the New Year and how it was compared to Christmas in the West. Just then his phone rang. Qin Zhao looked. It was that old guy Lian. "Hello, Mr. Chen." "What's up, Mr. Lian?" "Mr. Chen, the military has been in trouble recently. The supernatural organization should send some people." "Mr. Lian, you seem to have forgotten the rules of the supernatural organization." "The supernatural organization doesn't participate in government or military operations," Qin Zhao said. "But the military and government can't interfere with the supernatural organization's operations. They can only cooperate." This rule wasn't set by Qin Zhao. It was set by the Supernatural International Alliance. This was to ensure that the supernatural society would not become a tool of a government. "Mr. Chen, I'm not asking you to participate in this operation. You're just going to be a consultant to help the military solve some problems." "What problem?" Chen Zhao asked. "Recently, a group of tourists went missing in the desert 100 kilometers northwest of Las Vegas. The military participated in the search operation and detected a huge underground building complex near the area where the tourists went missing. So far, 2 teams of 10 people have been sent into the underground building complex in 2 batches, but only 1 survivor escaped. However, after saying some strange things, he died in the hospital the next day." "What did he say?" "Monster's Paradise. That's the Monster's Paradise," Leong said. "Did you detect any signs of life?" "No. When West comes back from Cape Town, I'll send him over to check the situation." Anyway, Chen Zhao had the attitude that it had nothing to do with him. This was the military's matter. It had nothing to do with him or the supernatural organization. "Mr. Chen, I asked West. He said they need at least 10 more days." "Oh, then you can only wait," Qin Zhao said, unconcerned. "Mr. Qin, aren't you in L.A. now? L.A. is only 400 kilometers from Las Vegas. I can also send a plane to pick you up. And then you throw me down from the sky? Mr. Qin, would you believe me if I said I had nothing to do with what happened last time?" "Huh, I believe you." Chen Zhao didn't care if Leong had arranged it or not. Just because Leong could do whatever he wanted to him, why did he have to listen to his explanation? Leong was also very depressed. Ever since he'd fallen out with Chen Zhao, even West's attitude towards him had become very bad. It would be better if he had never seen Qin Zhao before. At least he could still order West around. But ever since he'd fallen out with Chen Zhao, everything had changed. The supernatural organization became more forceful, and West spoke to him in a weird manner. "Mr. Qin, I only need you as a consultant. You don't have to do anything. You just need to give the 3rd investigation team some professional guidance so that they can have the right precautions when they encounter danger. I'm not free. Just treat it as a private hire. $500,000. Seeing Chen Zhao's attitude, Leong knew that Qin Zhao wouldn't help without some benefits. Qin Zhao thought for a moment and said, "I want to go and come back the same day. There's a party at my house the day after tomorrow." "Of course, just guidance," Leong said, but he was gritting his teeth inside. $500,000 for 1 day's time? "Tomorrow morning, send a helicopter to pick me up." Leong couldn't do anything about Chen Zhao's arrogance. The next day, a military helicopter hovered above Mirror Lake. Chen Zhao and Fei Lai were both woken up by the loud roar of the helicopter. Qin Zhao had told Fei Lai last night. He changed his clothes and hurriedly boarded the helicopter. Other than the pilot, there were also 2 fully armed soldiers. They sat in the helicopter without a smile. They didn't know Qin Zhao's identity. They only knew that he was some kind of expert. "Sir, do you need earmuffs?" The pilot handed an earmuff to Qin Zhao. Traveling in a helicopter for medium to long distances required earmuffs because the noise from the propellers was very high and continuous. If a person was affected by the noise of the propellers for more than 30 minutes without protection, they would become distracted and even lose control of their emotions. Chen Zhao had just woken up and wasn't in the right state of mind. After taking the earmuffs, he leaned against a chair and slept. "Call me when we arrive." Around 2 hours later, the helicopter stopped above a campsite. After Chen Zhao alighted, a few people came to greet him. One of them was Lieutenant Paul, but there was a woman beside him. Chapter 946. "Hi, Mr. Chen." Paul walked up and hugged Chen Zhao first. "It's great to see that you're okay. I made a huge mistake that day." Chen Zhao smiled insincerely. "What a joke. You gave me a parachute that I couldn't open. Should I smile at you?" Chen Zhao couldn't do that. At least, he couldn't be sure if Paul had any ill intentions. In comparison, Chen Zhao was more looking forward to hugging Sonnenfeld. "Paul, aren't you going to introduce this lady to me?" "This is my adjutant, Demi Sonnenfeld." Chen Zhao walked up to shake her hand, but Demi rejected him directly. When she'd brought her father home that day, she'd been asking him what was going on with Chen Zhao. However, her father refused to tell her. She still thought that Chen Zhao was bullying her father. Chen Zhao retracted his hand awkwardly and looked at Paul. "Paul, I want to know." Paul glanced at Demi and said, "Let's go to the tent." When he entered the tent, he saw that there were a few people in the tent, all of whom were soldiers. "Mr. Chen, I received news from my superior that an expert would come today. I didn't expect you to be the expert. Let's make it short. I want to know the specific situation here." Paul could feel that there was a gap between them. It was understandable. After all, he'd almost killed Chen Zhao that day. About 1 kilometer to the west of the camp, we found an underground building complex. The building complex was very large. We then sent 2 exploration teams into it, especially the second team, which was fully armed and equipped with the most advanced war weapons. But in the end, only one person came out alive. However, he was also seriously injured and died not long after. "So, did you confirm what creatures are inside?" "Not yet. We didn't find any." "What do you know about the situation inside?" "No." "Then what's the purpose of the military exploring the underground complex?" "No." Paul gave another negative answer. Chen Zhao sneered inwardly. "Exploring the underground complex without any purpose? Do you think I'm stupid?" "So, what problem did you call me here to help you solve?" "The problem we want Mr. Chen to help us solve is how to get our people in and out safely." "Sir, I think it's a waste of time." "He can't solve anything at all," Demi said unhappily. Everyone in the tent looked at Chen Zhao, who was crossing one leg. "I don't care what you think of me. My purpose for coming here will not change. I can explore the underground complex for you, but you have to pay the price." "What price?" Paul frowned. He didn't know how the higher-ups had found Chen Zhao. He also didn't know how Chen Zhao had cooperated with them. "You gave me 500,000 a day to be your consultant," Chen Zhao said. "Of course, it's only for one day." Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. $500,000 a day? Was he an expert or a celebrity? "My team and I specialize in dealing with supernatural creatures, so in this regard we are more professional than the military." "Mr. Chen, have you encountered such supernatural creatures before?" Chen Zhao took out his phone and showed the photo to Paul. In the photo, the mother was in the second stage of mutation. It hadn't completely broken away from its human form and was crawling out of its skin. Chen Zhao put one hand on the mother's body and took a photo. "This is a supernatural creature that our team dealt with," Chen Zhao said. "Can this prove it?" Paul glanced at it, then glanced at the others to distinguish it. In the end, it reached Demi's hand. Demi's expression was full of disdain. "This is fake. It's clearly a Hollywood prop, or the photo itself is photoshopped." Just based on a photo, it was indeed hard to believe whether it was real or fake? If it's real, why isn't there a single video? Demi questioned. For those who are hostile to me, Qin Zhao said calmly, any evidence I show will be treated as fake. Also, if I make a video, you'll say it's made with CGI. Paul could tell that Qin Zhao and Demi had a grudge. Otherwise, Demi wouldn't be so against him. If I want your team to capture a living creature in this complex, how much will it cost? $2 million. What payment method do you accept? Cash. Oh, $2 million after tax. Sure. When can your team arrive? I don't need a team, Qin Zhao said. Take me to the entrance. Mr. Qin, this isn't a joke, Paul said seriously. Our two groups all died inside. I'm not joking, Qin Zhao said. You just have to prepare $2 million for me. Sir, if he wants to die, why stop him? Paul's eyes flashed. Mr. Qin, are you serious? I don't think it's more difficult than surviving 10,000 meters without a parachute. Everyone couldn't help but look at Qin Zhao. Surviving 10,000 meters without a parachute? Could he really do it? Of course, it wasn't completely impossible. If there was a large enough net that could continuously spread the impact of the fall, one could survive. Someone had once challenged falling 7,600 meters without a parachute. In the end, he landed on a net and survived. This is a real case. If you're interested, you can find this video. Okay, Paul said. Since you think you can do it, I'll accept the job. Mr. Qin, what equipment do you need? A net. Soon, Paul prepared one for Qin Zhao. He put it in a backpack and handed it to Qin Zhao. Qin Zhao looked at the deep tunnel entrance. Waves of cold wind blew out from inside. Even though they were just standing at the entrance, the soldiers beside Paul were all on high alert. Their guns were pointed at the darkness, as if they were afraid that some monster would charge out of the tunnel. Mr. Qin, are you sure you want to go in alone? And with only one net. Just then, a beast-like roar came from inside, but it became a whistling sound outside. Everyone's expression changed. Mr. Qin, Paul said, the thing inside often makes this sound. Qin Zhao looked at the darkness. He could vaguely see the shadow of a beast, but he couldn't see it clearly because it was too far away. Chapter 947. Everyone watched as Qin Zhao walked into the darkness. Everyone thought that Qin Zhao was digging his own grave. They didn't know what exactly was inside, but they knew how dangerous it was inside. 2 elite teams, fully armed, went in. In the end, only one went crazy and escaped. In the end, it wasn't injuries that caused the survivor's death, but fear. So, to them, Qin Zhao wouldn't be able to come out alive this time. Qin Zhao walked through the long and narrow tunnel and could see that this should also be the ruins of an ancient civilization. Although Qin Zhao wasn't an archaeologist, the style here clearly wasn't the Mayan or Inca civilization that he knew of. Qin Zhao admired the reliefs along the way. In the development of the Mayan and Inca civilizations, their reliefs hadn't been outstanding. Most of what was left now existed in the form of murals. But these reliefs didn't have any content, or rather, Qin Zhao couldn't understand them. They looked like they were just decorations. In fact, when they'd first existed, they were for decoration, not to record anything. Qin Zhao touched the carvings. Suddenly, he noticed a patch of blood on them. Judging from the traces on the bloodstains, this bloodstain should have only been there for a few days. After all, the longer organic matter existed in the natural world, the more serious the decomposition. In the natural world, bloodstains would disappear completely in less than a year with the naked eye. Qin Zhao continued walking. The tunnel led downwards, and the temperature got higher and higher. The water molecules in the air stuck to the skin, blocking the breathing of the skin and preventing the internal heat from dissipating. In such an environment, people would gradually become dehydrated, causing their energy to slacken and become delirious. This was a symptom of heat stroke. For people with severe heat stroke, their brain would die and they'd become idiots. Without protective clothing, Humans wouldn't be able to survive more than 12 hours in such an environment. Even if there were no other creatures attacking them, they'd become weaker and weaker. Even well-trained soldiers, no matter how strong they were mostly only good at resistance and reaction speed. However, the environmental factors greatly weakened the reaction of these soldiers. Chen Zhao suddenly stopped and took out the net he'd prepared. A creature the size of a pig appeared before Chen Zhao. The creature's limbs were short and small, and its body was a little bloated. It looked like a pig, but its mouth was full of fangs, indicating that it was definitely a carnivore. This should be a modified wild boar. The creature charged at Chen Zhao. The beast was fast and strong. Chen Zhao grabbed the dog's upper jaw and flipped it onto the ground. The net in his hand also covered the beast. The beast let out a muffled cry that sounded like a wild boar. Just then, Chen Zhao felt more beasts coming out. They were all attracted by the wild boar's cry. Chen Zhao could sense that there were a lot of them. He grabbed the rope and ran out. The wild boar monster's cries became even louder. The closer it got to the exit, the louder its cries became. Chen Zhao was very fast, but when he was about to reach the exit, there was a gunshot outside. Chen Zhao charged out and looked at the two soldiers with submachine guns. Who fired the shot just now? The two soldiers glanced at each other. They'd thought that some monster had charged out. Plus, they were nervous, so they fired before they could see clearly. They didn't expect it to be Chen Zhao who charged out, and he was dragging a monster behind him. "Sir, I'm sorry." Chen Zhao went up and punched the soldier. "I'm sorry." The other soldier saw that his comrade was beaten and wanted to raise his gun. But on second thought, he realized that they were in the wrong, so he lowered his gun. Just then, the officers of the camp ran over. They'd heard the gunshots and ran over. They didn't expect to see Chen Zhao. "Mr. Chen, you're still alive?" Chen Zhao's face darkened. "Do you know how to talk?" "Sorry," Paul said awkwardly. "That's not what I meant." Chen Zhao glanced at Paul and Demi, who was standing beside him with a disappointed expression. "I don't think he went in at all. He's just hiding at the entrance," Demi said. "I caught this." Chen Zhao pointed at the wild boar monster in the net. Only then did everyone realize that Chen Zhao had brought something back. However, the wild boar monster had become very weak. The surface of its body was starting to dry up. A light-sensitive creature? Some creatures that lived in the dark for a long time would hate or avoid light. What's this? I'm not responsible for that. I'm only responsible for catching this creature and bringing it out, Chen Zhao said indifferently. Also, have you prepared my payment? It's just a strange creature, and you want $2 million? Demi said in disdain. Chen Zhao looked at Paul. Is that your answer too? Mr. Chen, please give us this creature first. Sorry, I can't. Chen Zhao rejected Paul's request directly. I won't give it to you before I see the money. Demi snorted. This isn't a place for you to decide. Mr. Chen, I hope you can cooperate with us, Paul threatened vaguely. Chen Zhao smiled and gave him the middle finger. Mr. Chen, I'm asking you as a military officer to give it to us. The soldiers behind Paul had already pointed their guns at Chen Zhao. Chen Zhao smiled. Are you sure you want to do this? When Chen Zhao went in, Paul thought that Chen Zhao was going to die. But when Chen Zhao came out and caught a creature, Paul felt that Chen Zhao's asking price was too high. Chen Zhao had caught a creature so easily and came out. Paul felt that Chen Zhao's operation wasn't worth $2 million. Chen Zhao glanced at the dying wild boar monster under his feet. It had a strong reaction to light and was already silent. Chen Zhao suddenly laughed. I can give it to you. Mr. Chen, I'm in a difficult position too. I hope you won't blame me. Of course not, Chen Zhao said with a smile. With a smile, Chen Zhao said, but you better be careful. Don't all die in this desert. Paul frowned. Looking at Chen Zhao's departing figure, he was deep in thought. Chapter 948. One of you, Go and leave with him. Paul felt that Chen Zhao's gaze was very unfriendly before he left. Sir, let me follow him. Demi wanted to grab hold of Chen Zhao's weakness. Okay, you go. Paul nodded. Although Demi was in charge of administrative work, she'd actually gone through professional training. She kept following Chen Zhao and realized that he'd booked a room in a downtown hotel in Las Vegas. In the evening, she saw that Chen Zhao had come out to eat. Chen Zhao was eating in the hotel's restaurant. When Demi realized that Chen Zhao was staring at her, she knew that she'd been discovered. She didn't hide and walked up to Chen Zhao. Directly. Ms. Demi, are we close? Demi sat down before Chen Zhao. I'll keep a close eye on you. Be careful. Chen Zhao chuckled. Are you going to come in and spy on me when I sleep tonight? Demi suddenly tried to grab Chen Zhao, but the next moment, Chen Zhao grabbed her hand and slammed it on the table. Demi's head was spinning from the beating, and her face was covered in blood. Girls, don't be too violent. Otherwise, it'll be very embarrassing if you get taught a lesson. Just then, the waiter walked over. Can you tell me what happened? Oh, she slipped and fell on my table. Look, she even messed up my dinner, so it's on her. Right now, Demi only felt a deep sense of humiliation. She'd thought that with her skills, she could easily teach Chen Zhao a lesson. In the end, she'd been defeated instantly and didn't even know how she'd lost. Demi stood up again and followed Chen Zhao out of the restaurant. Just then, Demi's phone rang. Demi, did that Asian do anything strange? Not yet, Demi answered. Keep an eye on him. Report immediately if there's anything strange. Paul was restless the entire day. Especially at night, he felt more and more uneasy. He kept feeling that something would happen. Paul looked at the entire camp. There were dozens of people. There were about 50 soldiers equipped with various levels of conventional weapons. This level of equipment was enough to support a small battle. Paul patrolled the perimeter of the camp. The underground relic was dangerous. However, there had never been a case of those creatures coming out. Therefore, the soldiers outside were more relaxed. Paul's expression could not relax. Demi had been monitoring Chen Zhao. She wasn't sneaky like before. Now she was being watched openly and blatantly. However, what she didn't know was that the Chen Zhao she was monitoring wasn't his real body. Chen Zhao's real body had already returned to the desert and sneaked into the underground ruins. The night was his best camouflage. This time, Chen Zhao went deeper. He wanted to confirm how many wild boars there were in the ruins. If there were enough boars, Chen Zhao would drive them out. This was Chen Zhao's revenge. If they slaughtered an army in broad daylight. Chen Zhao was powerful now, but he couldn't defeat an entire country. There were some things that needed to be done in secret. In the end, it was still a matter of strength. If there was a day when Chen Zhao's power could really reach a level where he could do whatever he wanted, Chen Zhao would be able to do whatever he wanted. Perhaps Chen Zhao wouldn't be as patient as he was today. Chen Zhao had always been very secretive, hiding in the shadows. This allowed Chen Zhao to go deep into the relic like there was no one there. Just then, Chen Zhao discovered a figure. When Chen Zhao saw the figure, he was also shocked. Crypt demon. There were crypt demons here. No, they looked similar to the crypt demons, but they were different. The bone shells covering their bodies were slightly gray and black. Were there different types of crypt demons? These wild boar monsters seemed to be reared by the crypt demons. Chen Zhao furrowed his brows, but this made him very happy. He had an idea. Chen Zhao hid in the darkness and searched for the female crypt demon. Suddenly, he discovered a few leather pouches that looked like they were wrapped in spider webs. Chen Zhao walked out of the shadows and opened them. It was a human, probably a soldier who'd come in earlier. But the soldier was completely dead. This should be the nest of some large spider. Chen Zhao didn't want to encounter something like that, so he immediately went back into the shadows. He searched in the darkness for a few hours. Finally, he saw the female crypt demon. Qin Zhao crawled out of the shadows. The moment the female crypt demon saw Qin Zhao, she pounced at him. Qin Zhao had been waiting for this chance. He grabbed the female crypt demon's neck and pulled her out. The other crypt demons realized that their mother had been caught. They immediately whimpered and charged at Qin Zhao. Qin Zhao didn't want to fight. He dragged the female crypt demon and charged out. The entire relic was in chaos. The crypt demon commanded the boars to chase after Qin Zhao. What's that sound? There were still 2 soldiers guarding the entrance of the underground relic. They heard a whistling sound from the entrance. It's okay. It's your first time here. It's normal. Every night there'll be weird sounds. I heard that it's time for the monsters inside to move. Just then, a figure suddenly jumped out. Who's there? It was just a punch coming straight at him. The 2 soldiers fainted and fell to the ground. Qin Zhao grabbed the female crypt demon, who kept struggling. But Qin Zhao was too strong. It couldn't resist at all. Don't be afraid, Qin Zhao said with a smile. I just need your offspring to kill all these people. The female crypt demon stopped struggling. She didn't have eyes, but she could feel and hear Qin Zhao's voice. It seemed to be able to understand Qin Zhao's meaning and began to whine. A long time ago, Qin Zhao had come into contact with the crypt demons 3 times. He'd realized that they weren't stupid. Their civilization level was low. They could even understand human intentions. If you can understand me, I'll let you go, Qin Zhao said. If you dare to go against me, I'll kill you right now. Anyway, there'll be a second queen in your race. The female crypt demon nodded. Qin Zhao let go. If it dared to escape, he'd kill it immediately. Just then, the crypt demons behind them also came out. The female crypt demon whimpered at the crypt demons and boars, as if she was talking to them. The crypt demons and boars started charging toward the nearby camp. Chapter 949. The defense line of the camp quickly collapsed. The suppression of numbers, especially the damage from guns against the crypt demons and wild boars, was too low. Even if they couldn't be damaged, the damage they brought would be fatal. After stabbing them in the back, Qin Zhao left. He wasn't interested in watching the crypt demons kill these soldiers. Qin Zhao switched roles. His real body returned to the hotel while his clone was cancelled. When Qin Zhao walked out of the hotel room, he saw Demi walk out of the opposite room. There was a band-aid on her forehead. She didn't hide her absent-mindedness at all. A smile appeared on Qin Zhao's face. I'm going home. Do you want to send me off? Demi looked at Qin Zhao coldly. Oh, don't let your dad appear before me. Otherwise, I'll kill him. Demi couldn't control herself anymore. She lifted her leg and kicked Qin Zhao's face. Qin Zhao also swept his leg at Demi's chest. Demi slammed into the wall and spat out a mouthful of blood. Just then, the phone rang. It wasn't Qin Zhao, but Demi. Demi took out her phone with difficulty and answered. Very soon, her expression became even worse. Qin Zhao could also hear Demi's voice. However, when he heard it, his expression became very unhappy. Paul wasn't dead. He was in the emergency room. Demi left, clutching her chest. Qin Zhao thought about it and decided to go to the hospital to see Paul. Realizing that Qin Zhao was following her, Demi stopped. Why are you following me? Let's go to the hospital, Qin Zhao said nonchalantly. You know what happened. Really? Huh. A smile appeared on Qin Zhao's face. I don't know what you're talking about. Qin Zhao shrugged and walked past Demi. Demi could clearly feel that Qin Zhao knew something. He knew what was going on, and he might even have something to do with it. Qin Zhao and Demi arrived at the hospital one after the other. Demi's hateful gaze never left Qin Zhao. Outside the emergency room, Demi was even angrier. What do you want to do to Lieutenant Paul? I don't plan to do anything. We're old acquaintances, after all. Can't I just visit him? Just then, the door to the emergency room opened. Lieutenant Paul was pushed out. When Demi saw Lieutenant Paul, she became even more excited, because one of Lieutenant Paul's legs and one of his arms were completely amputated. "Sir, how are you?" Chen Zhao walked up to Lieutenant Paul. Paul looked at him with a weak gaze. Why are you here?" Chen Zhao lowered his body and whispered into Paul's ear. "I'm here to tell you that you offended a monster expert. That's why you're in this situation." You. Lieutenant Paul's body suddenly arched up and then began to spasm, vomiting blood in large mouthfuls. "It's me. I did it. You asked for it." Chen Zhao smiled. Doctor, Demi exclaimed. But when the doctor arrived, it was already too late. After a short and intense reaction, Lieutenant Paul's entire body lost its strength. Like a piece of rotten meat, his eyes completely lost their spirit. Demi looked at him. "What exactly did you say to the officer? What did you do?" "I was just greeting him as an old friend," Chen Zhao said indifferently. "Oh, you can't shirk your responsibility for his death either." Demi stared at Chen Zhao's back, her eyes filled with fury. Chen Zhao boarded the bus back. The distance between Las Vegas and Los Angeles was only 400 kilometers. It would take about 4 hours to get to Los Angeles by bus. On the bus, Chen Zhao's phone rang. It was Leon. He was probably here to ask for information. "Hey, Mr. Chen, do you know what happened near the desert relic in Las Vegas?" "Yes. You weren't there." "I was chased away by the soldiers," Chen Zhao said. "Why? What did you do?" "They promised me that if I caught a monster from the relic, they'd pay me $2 million, Chen Zhao said. "But they broke their promise and chased me away. They even stole the prey that I worked so hard to catch." Leon had a feeling that things weren't so simple. However, he couldn't find any loopholes right now. "Mr. Leon, you won't break your promise too, right?" "Of course not. I'll transfer the money to you immediately." Leon didn't want to fall out with Chen Zhao just for a few $100,000. The risk of falling out with Chen Zhao was too high. "Also, when you introduce me to jobs next time, it'd be best if you recommend someone who's trustworthy," Chen Zhao said. "Sir, where are you going?" the ticket seller asked, walking over to Chen Zhao. This bus was similar to the ones in China. One was to buy tickets at the station or through a ticket seller. There weren't many ticket sellers in America anymore. The buses between L.A. and Las Vegas happened to be like this. "Los Angeles, how much?" $30. Chen Zhao took out $30 and gave it to the ticket seller. It was already 1 in the morning. There were very few people on the bus. The driver was a fat man with a big beard in his 50s. After getting on the bus, he checked the situation inside. Then he yelled and started driving. While driving, he ate a hamburger. If this was in China, they'd definitely be complained about. But this was basically the case for night buses. If they weren't allowed to eat, they'd complain to the bus company. The ticket seller sat beside Chen Zhao. "Sir, where are you from?" "L.A. No, I mean your hometown," the ticket seller said. "I can hear that your English has a bit of an accent." "China," Chen Zhao answered. "How about Las Vegas?" "It's too expensive," Chen Zhao said. Las Vegas and Los Angeles were both internationally renowned metropolises, but the way the two cities operated was completely different. Everything in L.A. was cheap. At least, most of the expenses were normal. But in Las Vegas, everything was expensive. Las Vegas claimed that as long as you had money, you could live like an emperor. It was true. Las Vegas gave Chen Zhao a feeling of splendor. Rich people could really do whatever they wanted in the city. But if they didn't have money, they'd be miserable. Chen Zhao had never been interested in gambling, but Las Vegas was truly a gambling city. Chapter 950. Just then, the bus stopped. A couple boarded the bus. This kind of bus would stop as soon as it stopped. The ticket seller beside Chen Zhao stood up and sold the tickets to the couple. After buying the tickets, the couple sat in the last row. However, Even Chen Zhao and the ticket seller, who were sitting in the front row, could still hear their flirting and laughter. After an hour, another woman boarded the bus. "Hey, Chinese, what's your impression of America?" the driver asked. Even the driver would get bored in the long night, so he took the initiative to talk to Chen Zhao. It wasn't convenient for him to turn his head, but it didn't affect their conversation. "It's a strange country." "Why do you say it's strange?" "Theoretically, America is the most developed and powerful country, but it's full of chaos." "Chaos? You mean America is chaotic?" "I come from a rather poor village in China," Chen Zhao said. "Then I went to study and work in the big cities. No matter if it's a developed or underdeveloped place, life is very peaceful. In the past 25 years, I've never seen a shooting. But in America, I've seen at least 5 shootings in the past year. The first was on my 3rd day here." "Fine," the driver said in a mocking tone. "I apologize on behalf of my country for letting you see the bad side of America. America is a strange country. It's such a developed country, but it's filled with so much violence. So, I think we should find a Chinese to be the president," the driver said. "Most Americans don't have a good impression of politicians. Most of the time, they talk about politics with a sense of entertainment." Chen Zhao, the driver, and the ticket seller chatted happily. Chen Zhao also told them some good and bad things about China. Just then, the bus stopped again and 4 big guys got on. 2 of them carried a large backpack. By now, they were already halfway through the journey. Chen Zhao was curious as to why these men would appear in such a desolate place. After the 4 of them got into the car, they sat in the back row silently. "Oh, do you know the legend of this road?" "The legend of this road. This is Route 666. The driver said the construction of this road started in 1966 and was completed in 1972. It lasted for 6 years. On the first day of the road's opening, there was a major accident. The death toll was 13 people. Adding the number of people who died during the construction of the road, it was exactly 66 people, the driver said. In Western countries, 6 and 13 are very unlucky numbers. 6 represented the devil, and 13 represented Satan. In Hollywood films, 6 and 13 were often used as symbols of the devil and evil in various horror movies. After that, there were often cases of cars disappearing on this road. That's why this road is also known as the road to hell, the driver said in a horrifying tone. However, Chen Zhao could tell that the driver was purposely creating this atmosphere for entertainment. "Let me tell you my friend's story. My friend is an explorer. He once explored an ancient relic with his team." "Wait, shouldn't he be an archaeologist? Why are you called explorers?" "I don't know," Chen Zhao said. "That's not the point." 20 minutes later, the driver said, "You said that if the queen of the crypt demons dies, a male will be chosen and turned into a female." "Yes." Just then, a woman's voice sounded from behind Chen Zhao. "This is the honeycomb model. In fact, most of the queen and the worker bees are the same species. When the worker bees are still larvae, they will select at least one larva to live in the queen bee station. Then, the larva will evolve into a queen bee in the queen bee station. Most of the time, there will only be one queen bee in a colony. Except when the old and the new are replaced, there may be 2 queens. However, if the queen bee is accidentally lost, then the colony will let another mature queen bee mutate in a very short time." Chen Zhao turned his head and saw a woman with messy hair and thick glasses. Feeling Chen Zhao's gaze, the woman grinned, revealing her braces. Chen Zhao had a slight preference for appearances. This woman looked like a nerd. She almost didn't care about her appearance and was dressed rather old-fashioned. She wore an old green jacket and a colorful t-shirt. "Hi, I'm Willian. I'm Chen Zhao." Chen Zhao shook hands with Willian. Willian pushed up his glasses. "From your description, you don't seem to be telling a story. Your description of the crypt demons is very complete. Language, habits, appearance. It's like you're talking about a real race that's close to humans. Then don't treat it as a story, Chen Zhao said, smiling. Are you a biology major? Yes, I'm a biology instructor at the University of California, San Diego. I mainly study reptile and primate genetics. Looks like we're colleagues, Chen Zhao said, smiling. The University of California, San Diego, is not the same school as the University of San Diego. People who don't know might confuse the two. UCSD was a university in the California University Alliance. Both were members of the alliance, so it made sense that Chen Zhao said they were colleagues. UCSD was a Catholic university and belonged to the Catholic Church. In the world rankings of famous universities, the University of California, San Diego, ranked far above the University of San Diego. From this, one could see how powerful the California University Alliance was. The academics and most resources of the 10 schools were shared. You are. I'm a tutor at UCSD's medical department. Hi. Willian quickly reached out to shake Chen Zhao's hand. She was a very shy girl, even though she was probably 26 or 27 years old. But what greeted him was a sense of immaturity. Chen Zhao wondered if Willian was a virgin. Of course, he probably had to add the word old in front. Hey, buddy, how long until we get to LA? A voice came from the back. It was one of the 4 people who'd gotten in last. About 2 hours, the driver replied. The fog seems to be getting thicker. That's weird. There's still some distance from the coastline. Why is it so foggy? Chapter 9:51. Chen Zhao glanced out the window. They'd passed the road sign. Highway 666. They were still 20 kilometers away from Basto. Chen Zhao frowned. They seemed to have passed this road just now. Whatever. Maybe it was an illusion. Just then, the bus entered the tunnel. Chen Zhao touched his chin. It wasn't an illusion. Just then, the driver said, Barbara, did you notice that we've already passed this tunnel? Are you secretly drinking? Barbilla asked. No, I've been sober for a week. Then drive properly. Don't be so paranoid. But half an hour later, they passed this tunnel again. Chen Zhao clearly remembered the road sign and the tunnel. Fuck, we really passed here. Barbara, look, this is the 3rd time. Barbara looked out the window. That's weird. There's only one tunnel from Las Vegas to Los Angeles. She also remembered that they'd passed this tunnel once. Horse, did you drive the wrong way? Don't joke around, Horse said. I've been driving this road for 30 years. How can I drive the wrong way? Suddenly, the bus shone on a car parked in the middle of the road. Damn, fuck. Horst yelled and hurriedly stepped on the brakes. Honk. Horst honked continuously, but the car in front didn't move. It was still there, not moving at all. There doesn't seem to be anyone in the car in front. Willian looked out the window. There really doesn't seem to be anyone. Let's go down and see, Barbara said. Horst got out of the car unwillingly. Chen Zhao followed. Why are you coming down? I'm seeing if there's anything I can help with, Chen Zhao said. This was clearly a mirror space. He'd encountered the same situation when he dealt with the mirror demon. Chen Zhao remembered very clearly that they'd passed this tunnel twice. Okay. Horst walked to the car and looked at it. This kind of car is still on the road. Chen Zhao and Horst realized that the car was an old car from the 60s or 70s. It also looked really old. Much of the paint had fallen off and the car was covered in dust. There was also a hole in the window. Horst frowned and said, Who would leave such an old car on the road? There's no one in the car, Chen Zhao said, looking inside. Damn it! Which bastard did this? Horst cursed. Damn it! Back on the bus, Barbara asked, How was it? There's no one in the car. The tunnel was not big, and the classic car was parked in the middle of the road. They had no way to get through. Which one of you wants to come down and help push that car to the side of the road? Horst asked. Hey, those big guys over there, I'm talking to you. Come down and help. The 4 men were not very willing. They exchanged glances with each other, seemingly hesitant. At this moment, the first woman, who got on the bus earlier, spoke. "We have now entered the true Hell Highway." Everyone looked at the woman, and Horst said, "Miss, stop joking. It's getting late." "Look at the clock," the woman said. Everyone looked at the clock hanging in front of the tour bus. "Is this clock broken? Where did it say 66 minutes? You can check your watch or mobile phone." Chen Zhao took it out and saw that the time was 3:66. My phone also shows 3:66. Fuck, what's going on? Why is there 66 on my watch after 12 o'clock? What's going on? "We've entered Hell's Highway," the woman repeated. Just then, the woman walked over. "Who are you?" Horst asked. "I'm a witch." The woman glanced at Horst. "I was hired by my employer to investigate a missing person case. His wife drove on this road and then disappeared." "Wait, you're that late-night woman?" Barbara looked at the woman in surprise. "What late-night woman?" Chen Zhao asked curiously. It said that every night on this road a woman in black takes a bus from Las Vegas to Los Angeles, and then from Los Angeles to Las Vegas, Barbara said. "However, only the bus driver has the opportunity to discuss this matter." "That's right. I've been taking the bus back and forth on this road for 3 years now. I'm looking for a way to enter Hell Highway. Finally, after 3 years, I finally entered." Not only was the woman not afraid, but she was also excited. "Crazy." The 4 men walked to the door. "Hurry up and move the bus in front. Let's go to Los Angeles." So troublesome. The 4 clearly didn't believe the woman. But just then, there was a loud bang on the roof. Then, a dent appeared on the roof. It looked like a monster's claw. Everyone hugged their heads and squatted on the ground in fear. Then there was another bang. Another dent appeared on the roof. Bang! The windows in the bus exploded at the same time. "Get off!" Horst yelled and was the first to rush out. The others followed closely behind Horst. After everyone got off, they realized that there was nothing on the roof. "What's going on? What's going on?" "Demon, demon!" Someone screamed in terror. But just then, the man's body suddenly flew up. No, he didn't fly up. Instead, he was grabbed by an invisible thing. "Help! Help!" The man screamed and struggled in the air. But in the next moment, that person's skull was split open, and his brain matter exploded. The body was thrown before everyone. At this moment, everyone believed the woman's words. They had really entered Hell Highway. There was really something terrifying here. Qin Zhao frowned because he couldn't see anything. How could he deal with an invisible enemy? But the woman acted first. She sprinkled a handful of magic phosphorescence in the air. The phosphorescence exploded instantly, and a ball of fire ignited in the air. Then they saw a huge, flaming bird shriek as it fell to the ground. "What's that?" "Hidden Ripper bird. I heard that they can turn invisible naturally and are most afraid of fire," the woman said. Everyone couldn't help but lean toward the woman. Chapter 952. "Here's my name card." The woman gave everyone a name card. "If you can get out of here alive, you can come find me if you have similar supernatural incidents in the future. Shea Bacola, Exorcism Company." Chen Zhao glanced at the woman. At first glance, she did seem like the case. It was just like the first time he'd met Sienna. "How much?" Chen Zhao asked. "Exorcism is based on the number of evil spirits. If it's a big incident like this, the fee is very high. It starts at $500,000. How much if I have to be safe?" Chen Zhao asked. Shea Bacola looked at Chen Zhao. "You're a university professor, right? Can you afford it?" "I'm rich," Chen Zhao said. 50,000, Shea Bacola said. "But you have to listen to me and don't walk around." "What do we do now?" Horst asked. It wasn't just him. Everyone was panicking. "Should we just stay here and wait for the fog to disperse? Let's call the police. Time has stopped here. This isn't the human world, so your signal can't be sent out, Bakola said. We can only leave after we kill the owner. Before we kill the owner, should we kill those things over there? Chen Zhao pointed at the exit of the tunnel. A group of things was swaying toward them. When they saw those things, everyone's expression changed. Is this Resident Evil? These things look so weak. Chen Zhao picked up a brick from the ground and smashed it at one of the zombies. Look, I seriously doubt the logic of Resident Evil. If it really happens in the real world, even a normal person can kill dozens of them, let alone an army. Everyone was speechless at Chen Zhao's fearlessness. If these things can cause the end of the world, I think humans should just kill themselves first. Horst took a metal rod from the car and smashed the zombies' heads. Really? These zombies look so weak. Chen Zhao and Horst smashed the dozens of zombies to the ground. Horst was so tired that he panted. Holding his legs, he looked at Chen Zhao. Aren't you tired? Your cholesterol is too high, Chen Zhao said. You should cut down on alcohol and high-protein foods. It can help you live a few more years. The group walked out of the tunnel. It was foggy outside and visibility was less than 10 meters. But at that moment, a hole suddenly appeared in the fog. Seeing this, Chen Zhao yelled, "Get down!" Chen Zhao first pulled Willie into the ground, but some people were still lifted into the air before they could react. Another concealment-splitting bird attacked. This kind of concealment-splitting bird couldn't be seen and was the hardest to defend against. The man was dragged away and disappeared into the fog. Everything happened so fast that no one had time to react. The team, which had been relaxed just a moment ago, was now once again in a state of tension. Everyone continued to walk forward. Suddenly, Bakola's footsteps paused. Everyone followed suit. A large number of octopuses appeared on the road ahead. The bodies of these octopuses were slippery, so they didn't crawl very fast. They weren't big either. Land was obviously not their main battlefield. Bakola took a step forward and chanted a magic spell. Then everyone saw a bolt of electricity shoot out from Bakola's feet and surge toward the octopuses ahead. Chen Zhao looked at Bakola. So she was an elemental witch. She should be good at lightning magic. Elemental witches belonged to their own system, so they couldn't learn magic from other systems. Systems like psychic, prophecy, and voodoo could be learned from each other. However, elemental witches were more aggressive than other systems. The octopuses were quickly cooked. Chen Zhao walked forward, picked up an octopus, and took a bite. It tastes pretty good. Everyone was speechless at Chen Zhao. This guy wasn't just daring. These octopuses were clearly not the same as what they usually ate. He actually dared to stuff anything into his mouth. It tastes really good. You really don't want some? Chen Zhao asked. Horst was a bit tempted. These things come from hell, Bakola said. It's best not to eat them. No one knows what will happen to you. Bakola looked at Chen Zhao. I told you, if you want to live, you better listen to me. You didn't say I couldn't eat them, Chen Zhao said. Bakola was even more speechless. Who knew that Chen Zhao would be so daring? Stuffing something of unknown origin into his mouth? After a few bites, Chen Zhao could basically confirm that it was edible and tasted good. But just then, more octopuses appeared on the road. Chen Zhao immediately took a few steps back. More octopuses. The 4 burly men, who had been silent all this while, actually took out guns and knives from their satchels. Chen Zhao glanced at them and realized that there were many weapons in their bags. What are you looking at, yellow monkey? Do you want to die? One of the men noticed Chen Zhao's gaze and immediately shouted rudely. Chen Zhao looked at the man. You'll die here. What did you say? The man immediately pointed his gun at Chen Zhao. But Chen Zhao was faster. He broke the man's wrist with one hand. Bang! The muzzle pierced through the man's chin and his entire head exploded. Ah! The others all screamed and retreated. Chen Zhao pushed the corpse over. The other 3 men looked at him and all pointed their weapons at him. No one would have thought that Chen Zhao, who'd been livening up the atmosphere, would have such a cruel side. I'll count to 3. Whoever dares to point a gun at me, I'll send him straight to Satan. Stop, all of you. If you don't want to die, you better stop fighting among yourselves, Shea Bacola yelled. Look at the situation. Qin Zhao shrugged. The 3 men also put down their guns, but they looked at Qin Zhao with some malice in their eyes. Clearly, the conflict just now had made them enemies with Qin Zhao. After all, one of them had died, so they couldn't coexist peacefully. But just as Shea Bacola had said, it wasn't the time for internal strife. Also, from Qin Zhao's reaction, he wasn't a good person either. Mr. Qin, are you really a university professor? William looked at Qin Zhao suspiciously. After all, Qin Zhao's reaction and counterattack ability didn't seem like something a scholar should have. Also, after killing someone, Qin Zhao looked relaxed and didn't feel guilty at all. She couldn't help but suspect Qin Zhao's true identity. Chapter 953. You've killed people before? William asked. Why do you think so? Qin Zhao asked, turning his head. A normal person wouldn't be so calm after killing someone. Should I be like this? Qin Zhao suddenly covered his hands. I killed someone. What do I do? I killed someone. Everyone watched Qin Zhao's antics, speechless. Qin Zhao didn't seem to be afraid of his environment at all. From start to finish, Qin Zhao had been so calm. When he saw zombies, he was the first to smash them with a brick. When he saw the octopuses, he was the only one who dared to pick them up and eat them. Qin Zhao took out a backpack out of nowhere and started stuffing the grilled octopuses into it. Everyone was speechless at Qin Zhao's actions, except for the 3 burly men. They all looked at Qin Zhao with murderous intent. Qin Zhao filled his backpack with grilled octopuses and ate them as he walked. Too bad there's no cumin. Qin Zhao glanced at William beside him. You don't want some? Nope. The octopuses didn't look appetizing at all. Especially in this kind of environment, it made Villian feel that nothing here was safe. In the next hour, there were no more attacks. However, they became more and more uneasy, because some people in the group couldn't walk anymore. Sir, don't you want some octopuses? Qin Zhao went to the person. No, I definitely won't accept demon food. The person was very nervous. Because he'd been walking for an hour, he was in a bad state. When people were nervous, they would use up a lot of energy. Adrenaline would increase secretion. Adrenaline was a stimulant produced by the human body. What did it feel like to take stimulants? In the beginning, you'd be extremely excited, but then you'd feel weak and powerless. Adrenaline wouldn't be secreted all the time. When the adrenaline was used up, people would feel extremely tired. Many of them were like this. Okay, what a pity. Returning to William's side, William saw that Qin Zhao kept eating. It didn't seem to be a problem. William finally couldn't help but ask, Mr. Qin, give me some too. Not so much. Give me a tentacle. It's really delicious. William couldn't help but exclaim. You have accepted the demon's food, and your souls will also fall, said the man who rejected Qin Zhao earlier. Qin Zhao rolled his eyes. If she didn't want to eat, then so be it. Have you seen a movie called Mist? Qin Zhao glanced at the person beside him. Everyone stopped talking. Most of them had probably seen the movie before and knew what Qin Zhao meant. Religion leads people to do good, but it can also make some extreme people crazy. You will be punished by God, especially you. You degenerate witch. You were born to be unclean. Shea Bacola glanced at him. If you think I'm impure, why are you with me? You can leave on your own. What's that in front? Horst suddenly pointed ahead. In the fog, there seemed to be a huge silhouette. A castle. Everyone's faces were filled with amazement. Everyone stopped in their tracks and looked at Shea Bacola. Kacha! The sound of Qin Zhao chewing on the tentacle was especially loud in the silence. Everyone looked at Qin Zhao in annoyance. Why are you looking at me? The castle gave off a strange aura and an oppressive feeling. It was so oppressive that everyone couldn't breathe. Everyone stopped in their tracks. They saw two huge octopuses moving toward them. The two octopuses had different skin colors. One was dark red, while the other was completely black. They weighed about 2 tons, and their tentacles were 5 to 6 meters long. They were also covered in metal armor, and their tentacles were wrapped around large weapons. Everyone was so nervous that they couldn't breathe. Shea Bacola was also ready for battle. The 3 gun-wielding men were the first to attack. They each threw a grenade. The dark, red octopus stretched out its tentacles and caught the grenade. Boom! The grenade blasted one of the octopus tentacles into pieces. This infuriated the 2 octopuses. Thud, thud, thud. The 3 had powerful firepower. They had grenades, machine guns, and shotguns. The 2 octopuses were actually no match for the 3. Boom, boom, boom. In the end, the 2 octopuses were completely smashed into pieces. Their bodies were riddled with holes, and their limbs were blown away. "Looks like it's up to the 3 of us in the end," one of them said proudly. "These demons are only SOSO." They were very proud of their performance. The last one even said, "We don't need you at all." Shea Bacola glanced at the 3, but didn't speak. But just then, there was a rumbling sound in front of them. Everyone looked in the direction of the sound. 3 monsters passed through the mist and appeared before them. They had big heads, short legs, and thick arms. They were also holding a shield and an axe. One of the monsters charged at them. Chun Zhao pulled Willie in and jumped to the side, avoiding the monster's charge. The 3 wanted to use the same method to deal with the monsters, but both bombs and machine gun bullets were blocked by the monster's shields. A giant monster charged in front of the 3 of them, swinging its axe horizontally. One of them didn't dodge and was split in half. The other 2 reacted quickly and lay on the ground to avoid the attack. But when the monster lifted its foot and was about to step on the 2 on the ground, suddenly a lightning whip shot from behind and wrapped around the monster's neck. Shea Bacola didn't watch them die. He still acted at the most dangerous moment. Shea Bacola pulled the other end of the lightning whip with force. The whip sank into the flesh of the monster's neck. Then he pulled back and the monster's neck was cut open. After Shea Bacola dealt with the first troll, he quickly attacked the second troll. Before the second troll could reach Shea Bacola, the lightning whip in Bacola's hand swept out and coiled around the troll's thigh. Then it was the same result. The lightning whip cut off the troll's thigh. The monster fell to the ground and instantly lost the ability to fight, but it wasn't dead yet. Chen Zhao immediately went forward and picked up a gun from the ground. He fired at the monster's head. Chapter 954. No one felt that Chen Zhao deserved the credit. Chen Zhao didn't care about everyone's gazes at all. After Shea Bacola finished off the last monster, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. "Coward!" The religious zealot looked at Chen Zhao with disdain in his eyes. "Didn't you say that Shea and I are both fallen? If you have the guts, you can take it or get out of the team." Chen Zhao looked down on him even more. "This team doesn't belong to you," the zealot said. "There are more kind souls here." Unfortunately, no one responded. Everyone felt that the person was a bit crazy. "God will protect me." Fallen, like you will only be dragged to hell by demons. Then go find the God in your heart to protect you. Chen Zhao pursed his lips. "Shut up, all of you," Shea Bacola scolded coldly. "I'll pay you $100,000 to get rid of this crazy guy and these 2 guys with bad guys written on their faces. How about that?" Shea Bacola rolled her eyes at Chen Zhao. "You're the one I should get rid of the most. You're the biggest, unstable factor in the team." "But they messed with me first," Chen Zhao said, feeling wronged. Shea Bacola glared at Chen Zhao. Her eyes were also filled with impatience. It seemed that all the conflicts in the team were related to this guy. "Take out the food and give it to everyone," Shea Bacola ordered. Chen Zhao gave everyone some. As for the crazy guy and the two guys with guns, Qin Zhao just ignored them. What about us? The two were already very dissatisfied with Qin Zhao. You want it too? Cut the crap. Give it. Qin Zhao gave them the middle finger. The two were about to use their guns again. Shay Bacola didn't want another conflict in the team. Give it to them, she ordered. No more, Qin Zhao said as he opened his backpack. It was empty. The two were both tired and hungry. Looking around, they were about to snatch William's grilled octopus. Qin Zhao pulled William to stand beside him. This woman is useless here, the two said. It's a waste to give her food. Qin Zhao attacked without any warning. With a punch and a kick, he beat the two to the ground. Then he snatched their backpacks and weapons. There were still a lot of weapons in their backpacks. Then he stepped on their thighs, and everyone heard a cracking sound. Look, there's no point for the two of you to stay here. There's no need to waste food on you. Goodbye. You can't do this to us. You bastard. I'll kill you. I'll kill you. The two men clutched their thighs and howled in pain. Shay looked at Qin Zhao. She realized that she had underestimated Qin Zhao. The first time Qin Zhao attacked, it was only self-defense. But this time, it was a completely proactive attack. Although he didn't directly kill the two of them, but he broke their legs and took away their weapons. If they were abandoned here, they would almost certainly die. After all, no one in the team could carry them. Everyone was very tired and did not have the energy to carry them forward. Smiling, Qin Zhao squatted down before them. See, you asked for it. I hope you can meet a monster that is gentle to you. Don't go. You can't do this to me. Please, please save us. Now they were finally afraid. They realized the severity of the problem. Let's go, Qin Zhao said. The master of this place should be in that castle. Shay Bacola looked at Qin Zhao, his eyes filled with caution. But now that Qin Zhao had weapons and ammunition, it wasn't the time to fall out with him. The team advanced in the direction of the castle. The castle seemed close, but they had been walking for at least 2 hours, and there were still no signs of them getting closer. We can't go any further. We can't go any further. The demon is luring us into hell. It was that crazy believer again. At this time, everyone was exhausted. Everyone stopped and looked at the crazy believer. You fallen witch, the crazy believer said, pointing at Shay. You want to sacrifice us to the demon. A few people were already on the verge of collapse. Now they started to waver too. Shay ignored them. Instead, she looked at everyone coldly. If some of you don't want to follow, I don't care. If you want to, then come. You can't go. If you go, who will protect us? Another woman walked up and blocked Shay's path. He didn't want to continue, but he also didn't want Shay to leave. What does your life and death have to do with me? Shay sneered. Well said. Qin Zhao acted like a lackey. Ms. Shay, I support you. I don't need your support. Let's go. Shay's expression was cold. Qin Zhao walked to Horst and Barbara. You'll only die faster if you stay here. In the end, the two of them decided to follow behind Shay Bacola. At least, Shay's performance just now proved that she indeed had the ability. Ignore them. They're just walking toward the abyss. I believe that God will protect you. You're all God's lambs. The group that continued forward suddenly lost half of its members. Only Qin Zhao, Shay Bacola, William, Horst, and Barbara were left. Are you still hungry? I have food here. Fuck. Didn't you say you don't have any more? When did I say I don't have any more? Everyone looked at Qin Zhao, speechless. Shay Bacola was also curious about where Qin Zhao had hidden the food. The group took some more food from Qin Zhao. We seem to be much closer. It shouldn't take long for us to get there. I wonder how those people are, William said. Don't worry about them. Their God will protect them, Qin Zhao said nonchalantly. Finally, after another half an hour, the 5 of them arrived in front of the castle. Qin Zhao took out his phone and took a picture of the castle. What are you doing? Are you trying to lure those demons out? Shay, Barcola scolded. Maybe they knew we were coming. Maybe they wanted us to come here, Qin Zhao said. Or maybe it's a trap. If you think it's a trap, why did you follow? Chapter 955. Qin Zhao went up and pushed the castle door. It creaked. Everyone looked at Qin Zhao. Shay Bacola was a bit surprised. You can even push such a big door. It's not as heavy as you think, Qin Zhao said. Horst also went up to try. But why can't I push it? Push to the end. The inside of the gate was empty. There was nothing. Everyone looked at each other, and Shay Bacola took the lead and walked inside. When they arrived at the castle, there was another door. Horst went up to push, but it didn't budge at all. This door seems to be locked. I can't push it at all. Let me try. Qin Zhao went up to push. Crack! The door was pushed open. Horst looked at Qin Zhao. What kind of weird power do you have? You're too weak, Qin Zhao said. Noises came from the front, and everyone looked at Shay Bacola again. Let's go in and take a look. Shay Bacola led everyone into a narrow and dark tunnel. Just then, the door behind them suddenly closed. Nails bounced out from the back of the door and pressed down on them. Run forward. Everyone ran forward frantically. They ran until they reached a huge and empty field. This was a huge Colosseum, and the surroundings of the Colosseum were empty. There was only a huge octopus sitting on the main seat. The octopus's lower body was its tentacles. Its 8 tentacles were fully spread out and were more than 30 meters long. Its upper body was human, but of course it was much bigger than humans. Look, more guests are here. The octopus looked down at the 5 people. That thing is the big boss here, right? Qin Zhao said. Shay Bacola kill it. Shay's expression was serious. The octopus was much scarier than he'd imagined. His body exuded an aura that made people fear him. Don't worry, the octopus said, looking at Qin Zhao's group. I'll arrange for people to receive you. The octopus hooked its tentacles, and the metal fence at the edge of the Colosseum was pulled up. 5 monsters rushed out from inside. Each of the 5 monsters had a human face embedded in their chests. Twisted monster, Shay Bacola said. Among the 5 faces, one belonged to the religious maniac. The other 2 were the burly men whose legs had been crushed by Qin Zhao. The other 2 were the followers of the religious maniac. I want to purify you. I want to purify all of you. Haha, no one can stop me. The religious madman was even crazier than before, and the giant monster's body was also under his control. Kill you, yellow monkey, I will kill you. The Kraken looked at the Colosseum. Are you surprised? Old friends have finally met. This is the welcome ceremony I prepared for you. All of you step back. Shay Bacola's expression was solemn. The 5 twisted monsters charged towards the 5 of them at the same time. Shay Bacola roared, and a slender lightning whip stretched out and wrapped around the religious madman's head. She wanted to deal with the twisting troll the same way she dealt with the trolls. However, the lightning whip was unable to sever the twisting monster's neck. It's useless. They're different from the normal monsters. They have greater strength and magic resistance. Shay Bacola immediately put away the lightning whip, but the lightning in her hand grew brighter and brighter. Zeus Fury! A pillar of lightning gathered in Shay Bacola's hand and shot at the twisted monster. Buzz! Buzz! The lightning pierced through the twisted monster's neck. The religious madman embedded in its chest roared, No! I haven't carried out God's will yet. But his voice came to an abrupt halt, and his enormous body collapsed with a loud rumble. So beautiful. Qin Zhao clapped and cheered. Everyone turned around to look at Qin Zhao. They saw him sitting beside the Colosseum as if there was no one else around. There was grilled octopus and beer beside him. Do you guys want some? Fuck, you have beer? Horst exclaimed. Shay Bacola, be careful. Qin Zhao suddenly warned. Shay Bacola jumped to the side. She quickly gathered her thoughts and continued to fight. One of the twisted monsters went around Shay Bacola and pounced at Qin Zhao. Mr. Chen, run. Qin Zhao raised his gun and fired at the twisted monster. Qin Zhao's shooting skills were terrible, but the twisted monster was so huge. He wouldn't miss even if he closed his eyes. However, the twisted monster was unharmed under the rain of bullets. Yellow Monkey, you have nowhere to run now, right? The man embedded in the twisted monster's chest grinned at Qin Zhao. What about this? Qin Zhao took out a grenade. I really have to thank you for giving me a gun and a bomb. Watch out. Boom, boom, boom. A huge arm fell before Qin Zhao. It had been broken by the grenade Qin Zhao had thrown. I'm going to tear you apart, tear you apart. The man roared, but a grenade landed before him. Boom! With another loud bang, the twisted monster he was controlling collapsed. Regardless of whether it was killing the man embedded in the chest or directly destroying the twisted monster's vitals, he could kill them all. Wilayan, Barbilla, and Horst all stared at Qin Zhao in shock. Even in this situation, Qin Zhao still remained calm. No, he hadn't been afraid from the start. Big octopus up there, come. Let me kill you and turn you into shumaki. Everyone was speechless. Qin Zhao had clearly lost his composure. By then, Shay Bacola had also finished off the other 3 twisted monsters. However, this battle had consumed too much of her magic power. Would you like to have a shumai? Shay Bacola couldn't be bothered to be angry with Qin Zhao. She indeed needed to replenish her energy. Do you think it's over? The octopus shrieked. Stop! Qin Zhao shouted. Intermission. Stupid human, this isn't the arena. Suddenly, Qin Zhao heard a whistling sound, but he couldn't see anything. Immediately, Qin Zhao's body was lifted up by an invisible thing. Hidden splitting bird. Seeing that he was being lifted higher and higher, Qin Zhao started to fight back. He reached out and grabbed the air above his head. From the feel of it, the hidden slithering bird that was grabbing him seemed to be larger than the one from before. Qin Zhao grabbed hard and broke the bird's claw. The bird shrieked and wanted to let go of Qin Zhao, but Qin Zhao held on tightly and climbed onto the bird's body. He couldn't see, but he knew that he couldn't let go now. After all, he was already hundreds of meters high. Qin Zhao wasn't sure if he would die if he fell. The hidden, splitting bird's body was rather soft. It should be a good cushion. Qin Zhao grabbed the bird's neck and gave it a bear hug. Chapter 956. Just when everyone thought that Qin Zhao was dead for sure, Qin Zhao fell from the sky. Qin Zhao descended from the sky, but the hidden slither bird's corpse fell with him. The hidden rending bird's carcass served as a good cushion. However, because the hidden slithering bird's corpse was invisible, everyone only saw Qin Zhao fall in the air. Shay Bacola was shocked. He'd been caught hundreds of meters in the air and still couldn't kill this guy? Qin Zhao returned to the ground and scathed. Octopus, I told you to take a break. Why didn't you understand? Seems like I've underestimated you, the octopus said. You can actually kill a female bird. Then let more hidden, slithering birds come. I want to know how you'll deal with them. Everyone heard more flapping sounds of wings. Qin Zhao suddenly threw the grenade he'd prepared into the air. There was a huge explosion. Hidden, slithering birds were ignited one after another and fell from the sky. The air was filled with the smell of roasted meat. Qin Zhao ran to a hidden, slithering bird. Ignoring the flames, he tore off a piece of meat and put it in his mouth. Wow, it tastes good. Come and try. It's really delicious. Everyone was speechless. They'd never seen someone like Qin Zhao. Faced with this situation, Qin Zhao's first thought was food. Moreover, he dared to stuff anything into his mouth. Aren't you afraid of getting a stomach ache? Shay Bacola asked. Really? No way. My digestive ability is pretty good. Qin Zhao grinned. It's really delicious. Are you sure you don't want to try? The others weren't as brave as Chen Zhao. The hidden, slithering birds were burnt into pitch-black pieces of meat. They were completely roasted. They were very afraid of fire. Just a little bit of fire could completely ignite them. Chen Zhao made a shooting gesture at the octopus in the audience. Baiyu, octopus, are you ready? Are these your last words? The octopus started moving down. Are you ready? Welcome the end. Oh, do you have cumin? I'm serious. Shea Barcola was speechless. Those who didn't know would think that she was the main force. His words were so arrogant, but in reality he still needed her to clean up the mess. The octopus monster raised its scepter and pointed it at Chen Zhao. Lowly ant, facing me, Acre Byler, you should show enough respect. The octopus's staff suddenly shot out a beam of fire, striking Chen Zhao from hundreds of meters away. Fuck! Chen Zhao turned around and ran, but the fire still chased after him. Wherever the fire passed, it left a charred ravine. Chen Zhao could only go around the bend and run quickly so that the fire couldn't catch up to him. Kraken, you can't hit me, huh? You just can't hit me. Shea Bacola and the others' jaws dropped. He didn't die from that. This guy's ability to escape was too strong. However, this pursuit was destined to end with this man's failure. Everyone had the same thought. The opponent had only moved his hand, but Chen Zhao had to keep running. However, this wasn't the case. Chen Zhao's endurance was far beyond their imagination. Chen Zhao ran around the stage in front of him again and again. The octopus monster controlled the staff and couldn't attack Chen Zhao at all. Shea Bacola, what are you waiting for? Kill him. Do you want to wait until I'm dead to attack? Chen Zhao shouted. Only then did Shea Bacola realize that she'd actually learned to watch the show. Shea Bacola suddenly rushed to the auditorium, condensed a pillar of lightning in his hand, and shot it towards the Kraken Acre Piler. Boom! The lightning struck Acre Piler, but he was unscathed. Ant, your pathetic magic means nothing to me. Acre Piler looked at Shea Bacola arrogantly. Chen Zhao could finally stop and heave a sigh of relief. Shea Bacola, go. I'll cheer for you. Mr. Chen, I think you should be quiet and give Shea Bacola some space. Don't disturb his battle, William said. I think so too. I think so too, Mr. Chen. You should be quiet, Horst and Barbara both said. Fine, I won't talk. Chen Zhao sat on a roasted karmic bird and started peeling off the tender meat. As he ate and drank, Horst, Barbara, and William all swallowed their saliva. They still didn't have the courage to eat this monster's meat, but watching Chen Zhao eat and drink so much made them feel uncomfortable. You really don't want some? It's really delicious. Forget it. William shook his head. They were more concerned about the battle between Shea Bacola and Acre Byler. They were currently fighting fiercely, but Shea Bacola's attacks were very weak. Shea Bacola, if you're tired, come down and eat something first. Then we can fight. Hearing Chen Zhao's voice, Shea Bacola was furious. She couldn't stop this battle just because she wanted to. The flame scepter in Acre Piler's hand constantly shot out scorching flames, which made it hard for Shea Bacola to resist. Human, do you feel the difference between us now? The flame scepter in Acre's hand suddenly shone brightly. The scorching flames landed at Shea Bacola's feet. Rumble, a violent explosion blew Shea Bacola into the air. It's over. Shea Bacola's mind went blank. Acre was really too strong, so strong that she couldn't block it. Just when Shea Bacola thought that she was dead, a pair of hands suddenly caught her. Shea Bacola turned around. It was Chen Zhao. She didn't think that it would be Chen Zhao. Intermission. We'll continue in the next round. Chen Zhao put Shea Bacola on the ground. Human, you still don't seem to understand your situation. Acre pointed his flame scepter at Chen Zhao. I think we should have some sportsmanship, Chen Zhao said, shrugging. Shea Bacola stumbled over to Chen Zhao. Go away. All right, you can't even stand properly and you're still trying to be brave. Chen Zhao pursed his lips and pulled Shay Bacola away. I can't. Can you? Shay Bacola said in annoyance. Whenever she thought about how Chen Zhao spent most of the time eating and drinking, she got angry. All right, leave the rest to me, Chen Zhao said. Acre moved to the center of the arena and looked at Chen Zhao. Human, what else do you want to say? Chapter 9:57. You're asking for it. Acre pointed his flame staff at Chen Zhao. A pillar of fire shot toward Chen Zhao. Chen Zhao reached out to block it. Shay Bacola was forced back by the flames and high temperature. She thought that Chen Zhao was dead for sure. The high-temperature flames shot directly at him. Not just Chen Zhao, but even she might not be able to withstand it with her magic protection. But when she looked up at Chen Zhao, she realized that he was still standing in the same spot. The flames burned wildly on his body, but he didn't seem to be dead. Acker stopped his flame staff and stared at Chen Zhao in disbelief. You're not afraid of hellfire? Chen Zhao was surprised too. The hellfire indeed made him feel hot, but it didn't hurt. The hellfire didn't seem to be as threatening as skyfire. My fire resistance is high. Chen Zhao grinned. Horst, Barbara, and Willian were also in disbelief. Chen Zhao looked at his mostly burned clothes and tore them off. Luckily, he left his underwear. Otherwise, he wouldn't even use his clone. He'd be running around naked. That's the warm-up. Let's get down to business. Bang! Acker Byler's tentacles attacked without any warning. Chen Zhao was sent flying and smashed into the wall of the Colosseum. Everyone gasped. Shay Bacola sighed. She'd thought that Chen Zhao really had a chance to defeat Acre with her. But as soon as the battle started and after one round, Acre was instantly killed. But then, Chen Zhao stood up again. Mr. Chen, are you okay? Willian looked at Chen Zhao in disbelief. Chen Zhao twisted his neck. Takoyaki, is that all you can do? That's all? He'd been swept by a 30-meter-long tentacle, and that was all. This was basically the same concept as being hit by a super truck, right? That's just the appetizer. Acre grinned at Chen Zhao. The next moment, he waved 2 tentacles at Chen Zhao, facing the overwhelming attack. Shay Bacola couldn't help but cry out, "Watch out!" Chen Zhao grinned, and a sword flashed. 2 huge tentacles landed on Chen Zhao's left and right with a boom. With a boom, 2 huge tentacles landed on Chen Zhao's left and right. Everyone's expression froze as they looked at this scene in disbelief. A bronze sword appeared in Chen Zhao's hand, but he had never shown it before. Where did he hide the sword? The 2 severed tentacles were still struggling on the ground. Chen Zhao stabbed a tentacle with the bronze sword. This tentacle probably weighed more than 10 tons, but he continued to drag her along. Fat, tender, delicious. I can already smell the high protein in it. Chen Zhao glanced at everyone. Normal octopus contains 30 times more protein and taurine than beef. I wonder how nutritious the octopus from hell is. Seeing Chen Zhao lick his lips, everyone was speechless. The octopus treated them as food, but Chen Zhao also treated the octopus as food. This was a battle of the food chain. I'll kill you, bastard. I'm going to kill you. Chen Zhao's actions completely infuriated Acre Piler. Acre's tentacles grew out again, but this ability made Chen Zhao's eyes light up. Acre's recovery speed was very fast. Chen Zhao wanted to see how much he could grow. Swinging his sword, Chen Zhao charged forward. Chen Zhao's attacks were extremely sharp. Each strike would cut off one of Acre's tentacles, but at the same time he would be sent flying by Acre every time. Right now, Chen Zhao was using his body's resistance to fight against Acre's recovery speed. Both sides fought until the sky was dark and the earth was dark. Ms. Shay Bacola, who will win? Shay Bacola stared the stalemate and shook her head. I don't know. I hope that Chen Zhao can win. If he loses, we'll all die. Chen Zhao was sent flying again. He smashed a hole in the ground. At this moment, everyone held their breath. They could tell that the force of this blow was extremely great. Looks like we're in trouble, Shay Bacola said seriously, looking at Chen Zhao's back. What's wrong? That demon's recovery speed is too strong, Shay Bacola said. Every time Mr. Chin attacks, he can recover in the shortest time possible. But Mr. Chin doesn't have that kind of recovery speed. His resistance is very strong, but every time he's hurt, a part of it will accumulate in his body. Thud! Chen Zhao spat out the blood in his mouth. Acre was indeed stronger than he'd imagined. Acre looked at Chen Zhao proudly. How about it, human? You can't take it anymore? Steam dumpling, should we stop for a round? You've used up a lot of magic power, right? Chen Zhao smiled at Acre. Acre's expression changed. No one could recover infinitely, and he was no exception. Every time he recovered, he used up magic power. If Chen Zhao cut off a few more tentacles, his magic power would be almost depleted. Shay Bacola's eyes flashed with surprise. She suddenly understood that Chen Zhao wasn't completely at a disadvantage. She hadn't thought this through. It wasn't the first time Acre had faced a monster of this level. This guy was very experienced. Acre took out an hourglass and placed it on the ground. Let's stop fighting until all the sand in the hourglass leaks out, Acre said. He'd calculated that his magic power would completely recover in this amount of time. But as a human, Chen Zhao definitely didn't have as much magic power as him. When his magic power recovered and Chen Zhao was still injured, he would definitely win. Chen Zhao dragged the tentacle to Shay Bacola. Shay Bacola, help me roast it. Shay Bacola was completely speechless. Was it really okay to roast Acre's tentacle and eat it right in front of him? Are you sure you won't anger him? He won't dare to be impudent even if you give him 10 guts. Since you know that his magic power is almost depleted, why don't you persist? Maybe I should work with you. I need to confirm how his tentacle tastes, Chen Zhao said. Just how obsessed are you with eating? Everyone was speechless. What if it doesn't taste good? Then he'll die faster, Chen Zhao said. I don't understand. Chapter 958. Looking at the tentacles and broken tentacles all over the ground, Shay Bacola suddenly understood. Did he do it for the tentacles? It tastes really good. Why don't you try? There's powerful magic in it. You can't eat it casually. Shay looked at Chen Zhao worriedly. Oh, I almost forgot. Chen Zhao rubbed his nose. Achoo, magic allergy. He forgot again that food with magic couldn't be eaten casually. Seeing that Chen Zhao was allergic to magic, Shay Bacola's heart sank. Just as she'd feared, Chen Zhao had magic allergy. If Chen Zhao's condition worsened in a battle like this, the situation would be dangerous. While eating, Chen Zhao rubbed his nose. Barbara, Horst, Willie, and you guys don't want some? Didn't you say I can't eat it? He and I can't, but you can. You can't absorb the magic, so it won't affect you, she said. But when she turned to look at Chen Zhao, she realized that he was still eating. Aren't you afraid of death? You know it'll make you allergic to magic, but you're still eating? Delicious. So delicious that you're willing to risk your life? The more you eat, the more serious the magic allergy will be. When I'm in a good condition, I can fight in a good condition. When I'm not, I can fight in a bad condition. Chen Zhao rubbed his nose again. It was red and tears kept flowing out of his eyes. Shay watched as Chen Zhao tore off a large piece of takoyaki and stuffed it into his mouth. This piece was probably 3 or 4 kilograms, right? Her eyes almost popped out. Chen Zhao's appetite was way too big, but she realized that Chen Zhao's right arm kept trembling. Is your right arm hurt? No, but your right arm keeps. It's allergic too. Chen Zhao wiped the grease off his face and turned to look at Acre Piler. Let's fight. It's not time yet, Acre said. I say fight, so fight. Acre Piler was speechless at this repetitive human. Since you want to fight, let's fight. Aker snorted coldly. He had already recovered 70% of his mana, but the other party's rest time was so short, so he was definitely not in as good a condition as he was. Aker Piler returned to Qin Zhao. Qin Zhao raised his right arm and aimed it at him. Shay Bakola looked at Qin Zhao in confusion. What was he doing? Aker Piler didn't understand either. Does that mean stop? Human, since you started the fight, what is the meaning of this? Achoo! His right arm shook violently. Then a magical current shot out of it. Bang! Half of Aker Piler's body disappeared in an instant. At the same time, a circular hole was blasted in the spectator stands behind the Colosseum. Everyone was silent. Their mouths were wide open as they stared at Qin Zhao in disbelief. When in good condition, there would be a good way to fight, and when in bad condition, there would be a bad way to fight. Was that what he meant? Is he the Terminator? Is this guy a modified robot? Horst stared at Qin Zhao in shock. It was too terrifying. This kind of impact. It was like a human-shaped, self-propelled cannon. Aker Piler turned around and fled. His injuries greatly reduced his recovery rate. Qin Zhao had blasted half of his body into pieces with a single move. If Qin Zhao had aimed at his main body, he would be dead for sure. But when he turned his head, 2 black monsters had appeared behind him out of nowhere. Did I allow you to leave? Qin Zhao and the 2 black guys spoke at the same time. These 2 black monsters were actually the matriarchs, controlled by Qin Zhao. But now they should be called dark matriarchs. Suddenly, Qin Zhao pounced on Aker from behind and hugged him from behind. Then he chopped off Aker's right arm. Before Aker's right arm could fall, Qin Zhao had already snatched the flame scepter from his hand. Good stuff. This is really good. Qin Zhao tried to pour in mana. A wave of flames shot into the sky. This is fun. Qin Zhao started playing with the flame scepter. Everyone stared at Qin Zhao speechlessly. He was in the mood to play with a great enemy. Qin Zhao pointed the flame scepter at his right arm and released the flames. Then the mouth of gluttony on his right arm devoured the flames. Qin Zhao felt that he had reached his limit and stopped charging. Then he aimed his right arm at Aker Piler. Boom! A huge wave of flames exploded on Aker's body. The 3 tentacles were blown away by the explosion. Recover. Hurry up and recover. Out of mana? Never mind. I'll give you 10 more minutes to rest, Qin Zhao said. Aker Piler wanted to cry. He had never seen such a brutal enemy. He was even crueler than a demon like him. Qin Zhao returned to the barbecue stall. Shay Bakola looked at Qin Zhao. She felt that this man was like a mystery. She had no idea what he was going to do next. Weird. Why can't I feel any mana allergy? Qin Zhao had planned to use the same method, but he realized that the effect was much worse. He seemed to have gotten used to Aker's mana. He couldn't absorb it, but it wouldn't cause any allergies. What are those 2 black things? My former enemy, Qin Zhao said, but I'm controlling them now. The dark matrix was extremely fast. Both of them were on the same level as Qin Zhao. Qin Zhao started to clean up the tentacles and the cooked hidden slither bird. Aker, on the other hand, was planning a counterattack. Qin Zhao was clearly stronger than him. He could feel that Qin Zhao had been playing with him. If Qin Zhao really wanted to kill him, he would have died long ago. Aker began to summon his army. The sound he made couldn't be heard by humans. Halfway through his meal, Qin Zhao suddenly turned around and looked at Aker. What's wrong? He's summoning his subordinates, Qin Zhao said. Aren't you going to stop him? I think we should give him a chance to struggle. However, a large number of monsters started surging out of the tunnel of the Colosseum. Hundreds of them. There was also the sound of flapping wings. There were also many of them. Large numbers of hidden slither birds and monsters filled the entire Colosseum like an army. Chapter 9:59. I also think I don't have enough ingredients. A smile appeared on Chen Zhao's face. Shay Bakula stared at Chen Zhao. How much can you eat? You've collected so many ingredients, and you still say it's not enough? Chen Zhao looked at Acre Piler. We can officially start the battle now. Acre Piler raised his hand. Chen Zhao suddenly shouted, Wait, what? Do you want to surrender now? Can you give me a minute to prepare? Shay Bakula stared at Chen Zhao. What's this guy going to do? Then, Chen Zhao suddenly split into 12. Shay Barcola sucked in a breath of cold air. Doppelganger? Doppelganger was rare, but it wasn't rare. However, it was really rare for a spiritualist to use a doppelganger spell. But why were the 12 doppelgangers naked? Chen Zhao gave each doppelganger a set of clothes. Only then did everyone understand why Chen Zhao needed a minute to prepare. Go, Chen Zhao ordered. The 12 doppelgangers charged at the same time. The 12 doppelgangers fought against hundreds of monsters and hidden slither birds. One of the doppelgangers smashed a monster's head with a punch. The 12 doppelgangers were shockingly powerful. Chen Zhao didn't go up himself. He dragged a monster's corpse and cut off a piece of meat. Help me cook it. Let's see how it tastes. I'm not your chef, Shay Bakula said with a dark expression. Do you still want the $50,000? You're willing to give me $50,000? With your ability, you don't need my protection at all. You can totally kill your way in and out. Don't think that the $50,000 is for bodyguards. You can also think of it as a temporary chef. This was very hurtful. Shay Bakula thought that she was a professional spiritualist or exorcist. But in Chen Zhao's eyes, she was just a chef. I'll cook for you, and you'll pay $50,000? Of course. I never lie. Shay Bakula used a lightning spell to cook the meat. Chen Zhao took a few bites and nodded in satisfaction. The meat is smooth and tender. The fat content is just right. It's slightly fishy. I need to use seasonings to remove the smell. You didn't come here on purpose to look for ingredients, did you? You wouldn't believe me if I said it was an accident, Chen Zhao said helplessly. Where did you hide everything? There are so many bodies of monsters, but they disappear as soon as you touch them. What kind of magic is this? This spell is called the spell that won't come true if you say it. Ignoring Chen Zhao's nonsense, Shay Bakula looked at the battlefield. The battle was intense, but Chen Zhao's clones started dying. There are simply too many enemies. Your doppelganger doesn't seem to be able to hold on much longer. It's still early, Chen Zhao said unconcerned. Only one had died. Chen Zhao was not worried at all. You're not going to help? Shay Bakula could feel that there was still a huge gap between Chen Zhao's real body and his clone. However, these clones were still very powerful. If it were her, she probably wouldn't even be able to beat one of them. Chen Zhao's clone couldn't use magic. Therefore, he could not use the mouth of gluttony or the eye of power. Each clone only had about half of Chen Zhao's strength. However, the combat power that 12 doppelgangers could bring was still very high. Chen Zhao was busy cleaning up the corpses of the monsters and hidden slither birds. Shay Barcola saw it all. She didn't understand why Chen Zhao hadn't attacked yet. The rate at which Chen Zhao's clones died was clearly higher than the rate at which the monster army died. If this continued, Chen Zhao's clones would all die before the monster army was completely destroyed. Chen Zhao was still as calm as ever. There were simply too many monsters in the army of monsters. Finally, the last clone was destroyed. By now, Acre Piler's monster army still had more than half left. Human, you've used up your last trump card. What should you do now? Acre Piler looked at Chen Zhao proudly. In his mind, he had already imagined how he would torture Chen Zhao after he was defeated. Shay Bakula and the others were anxious. If Chen Zhao had joined the battle earlier, this wouldn't have happened. But it seemed like Chen Zhao didn't care at all. Trump card? You seem to have gotten it wrong. Chun Zhao was still smiling. When did I say that was my trump card? Acre Piler was a bit wary. Wasn't the cloned spell Qin Zhao used just now his trump card? Although he didn't really believe it, he still felt that he had to be on guard. Shay Bacola was also a bit hesitant. She didn't know if Qin Zhao was bluffing or if he really had a trump card he hadn't used yet. To her, 12 clones was already a very shocking move. If Qin Zhao still had other trump cards he hadn't used, she really couldn't accept it. Was the difference between them really so big that it couldn't be made up for? For a moment, Acre Piler didn't dare to give the order to attack. Instead, he looked at Qin Zhao warily, wondering if he should give up for now. However, he was unwilling to give up. Qin Zhao had humiliated him time and time again. There was a fire of anger in his heart that had yet to be vented. He wanted to take revenge on Qin Zhao. He wanted to torture Qin Zhao to death in the cruelest way. Do you want to rest? Again, hearing Qin Zhao's words, everyone, including Acre Piler, didn't know how to feel. Qin Zhao was like this every time. He had to rest every time. And every time he rested, Qin Zhao would play new tricks. If you want to fight, then fight. What's with all this talk? Are you scared? Acre Piler said tentatively. You want to fight now? Okay, let's fight. Qin Zhao sat down. Seeing this, Acre Piler didn't dare to give the order to attack. He didn't know what Qin Zhao was going to do. But the next moment, he saw Qin Zhao take out a musical instrument and place it before him. Is this a trump card? What a joke. What kind of trump card is this? Okay, I'm ready. You can attack, Qin Zhao said. Bluff. This guy is bluffing. Acre Piler and Shay Bacola both had the same thought. Clang! The guzheng gave off a crisp sound. At that moment, Acre was even more certain that Qin Zhao was bluffing. Attack, attack! Kill him! Kill him! Acre finally gave the order to launch the final attack. Chapter 960. Shay Bacola and the others saw that when the dozens of monsters and hidden, slithering birds charged at Qin Zhao, he was still sitting on the ground and playing the guqin. They were all extremely nervous and worried for Qin Zhao. In their eyes, Qin Zhao was definitely not someone who pretended to be aloof. From the beginning to the end, Qin Zhao had given them the feeling that he was vulgar. But now, this vulgar person was actually sitting on the ground and playing the guqin in the face of such an attack. What the hell was going on? The moment the monsters reached Qin Zhao, 12 cold beams of light exploded at the same time. Both the invisible hidden, slithering birds and the huge monsters were instantly torn to pieces by the beams of light. Their bodies were cut into pieces. The 12 stone swords floated in the air. Qin Zhao's music suddenly changed. The 12 stone swords sliced through the air. There was only a tearing sound in the air. Wherever the stone swords passed, everything was torn to pieces. Everything became fragile and insignificant. When the hidden, slithering birds were cut into pieces, their blood dyed their bodies red. The death of the monsters was even more shocking. They didn't know how to face the 12 stone swords at all. To them, it was like a group of people facing a person with a machine gun. No matter how many people there were, they were powerless against a machine gun. The music suddenly became violent. The 12 stone swords also became more intense. All the monsters formed a painting as they were slaughtered and strangled. The 12 stone swords gathered together and formed a circle. Then they started spinning rapidly. This also made them more lethal. They were like rapidly spinning blades or meat grinders. No one had seen this before. The monsters that were supposed to be the slaughterers and torturers were now the ones being tortured. Shay Bacola finally understood what a true trump card was. From the beginning, Qin Zhao had been playing. Qin Zhao had shown great power earlier, but it wasn't aggressive or explosive enough. When he got serious, she finally understood what it meant to slay demons. It was an almost invincible attack. 30 seconds. It was only 30 seconds. Clear the field. The air was filled with the strong smell of blood. Holding the zither, Qin Zhao stood up. The 12 stone swords hovered beside him. The ventilation here isn't very good. You might need to redecorate it. Oh no, you probably don't need to. Acker's body went cold. His monster army was slaughtered just like that. In the past, he thought that with his monster army, he could even compete with middle-level demons. But now, he realized that he couldn't even defeat a human. Chen Zhao seemed to be gesturing with one hand. He gestured to the left, then to the right. Mr. Chen, what are you doing? Cut off the top half, Chen Zhao said. At the same time, he pulled the strings. The 12 stone swords attacked at the same time, and Acker's upper body flew up. He had nowhere to hide, nor could he block. Chen Zhao then took out the flame scepter. A stream of flames shot out and burned Acker's lower half. Only then did everyone realize that Chen Zhao was going to roast all of them. A brick landed on Chen Zhao's head. Chen Zhao looked up. The castle was falling apart. Don't you think we should leave? Run. Chen Zhao charged toward the exit. The door at the exit wasn't even useful to Chen Zhao. It was destroyed by Chen Zhao. The others followed, closely behind. When they escaped from the castle, they realized that the entire castle was collapsing toward a point. Not just the castle, but everything around it was shrinking toward that point. The mist was also being sucked in. Everything around it was being absorbed. But Chen Zhao and the others didn't feel any attraction. Suddenly they heard a sound. The next moment, something crashed into Chen Zhao. Bang! A sports car had crashed into Chen Zhao and he fell to the ground. A woman got out of the car. Chen Zhao saw that it was Sharon, holding his stomach. Chen Zhao fell to the ground and wailed. Ah, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Shea Bacola and the others stared at Chen Zhao, speechless. Could a sports car hurt him? They wouldn't believe it, even if they were beaten to death. Even the monsters inside couldn't kill him. A mere sports car couldn't hurt Chen Zhao at all. Sharon was also confused. Chen Zhao and the others had appeared in front of her car out of nowhere. She walked up to Chen Zhao and took a closer look. The person wearing only his underwear was actually Chen Zhao. How come it's you? Chen Zhao peeked at Sharon and then shouted even louder. Why are you standing on the road in your underwear? I'm going to the hospital. I feel terrible. I'm going to the hospital. Chen Zhao didn't want to answer this embarrassing question. Miss, we met a robber. We were robbed, Shea Barcola said as she stepped forward. The lucky survivors, Barbara and Horst, also understood. This was clearly the best answer. Robbed. Sharon realized that they were all dirty. It indeed looked like they'd been robbed. Especially Chen Zhao, who wasn't wearing anything. You were robbed. I'm dying of laughter. Sharon laughed so hard that she was about to cry. Are you that happy that I was robbed? Lying on the ground, Chen Zhao said gloomily, You're a cop. Aren't you injured? Why didn't you scream? I'm tired. Chen Zhao didn't want to keep pretending. A while later, Sharon called the police. David was the one leading the team. David pulled Chen Zhao to the side. Chen, what exactly happened? You said you were robbed? I don't believe you. Do you remember the mirror space created by the mirror demon? Chen Zhao said helplessly. Last night, when I came back from Las Vegas, I saw a mirror space on the road. I killed the boss of the space and then came out. They're all survivors. What kind of battle did you go through? You even knocked off your clothes. It wasn't smashed, it was burned. That monster can breathe fire. I really want to take the risk with you. Stop it, Chen Zhao said shamelessly. If I were alone, I could easily take care of it. If I didn't have to take care of the 3, I would have come out long ago. Actually, I've been learning some supernatural knowledge from Sienna recently. That stingy person. She actually charged me tuition. Okay, send me home now. I've been working hard for the whole night, Chen Zhao said tiredly. Oh, come to my house tonight. I've prepared a lot of delicious food. I caught many delicious monsters in the mirror space this time. I cooked them all. David didn't refuse either. Hearing that Chen Zhao ate monsters, he was also very excited. Okay, when does the party start? Chapter 961. Seeing Chun Zhao return in David's car, Fei Lai knew that his trip had not been peaceful. "Hi, Fei Lai." After getting out, David went up and hugged her gently. Fei Lai looked at David's car. Why isn't Chin coming out? Why is he in the back seat? Don't tell me you're handcuffing him. Chin, you're already at the door. Are you still not willing to come out? Chun Zhao finally came out. When Fei Lai saw that he only had his underwear on, she almost burst out laughing. "Darling, what happened to you?" "He was robbed." "Him? Robbed?" Fei Lai stared at him, her eyes wide. "Did God disguise himself as a robber?" "Darling, I thought you'd comfort me." "All right, I've sent your man back. I should go now." After David left, Chin Zhao hurriedly took a shower and changed into a set of clean clothes. "Fei Lai, I found a lot of good food for you." Chin Zhao took out the grilled octopus tentacles and slitting bird. "You found this last night?" "Yes, I met someone who is blind," Chin Zhao said. "Try it and see if you like it. It's good, just a bit bland." Fei Lai really liked the taste, whether it was the grilled octopus tentacles or the roasted meat of the sundering stealth bird. Both of them were very nutritious. Pregnant women were very sensitive to nutrients. Sometimes their bodies would instinctively search for nutritious food. Fei Lai was the same. She really liked the taste. "I still have a lot of fresh ingredients. Have the underlings cook them again." The underlings also started getting busy for the party tonight. First, there were some snacks. They were already placed on plates. Then, there was hot food suitable for the party. A few days ago, Chin Zhao and Fei Lai had started inviting friends and family. Today, they confirmed again to see if they would come. "Stephen, I promise you that you'll be able to eat a lot of new food at the party tonight." "That's what you said. If I'm not satisfied, I'll smash your party. As long as you don't want to take away when the time comes, you can destroy my place." "Really? I can't wait. I want to go now." "Don't come too early. I'm not ready yet." It was mainly because he didn't want people to see the inferior demons. Usually, when guests came, Chun Zhao could have the underlings hide, but there were too many things for them to handle today. If the guests came too early, the underlings wouldn't be able to work. All right. At this moment, a car arrived at the door. Eula and Cheryl ran out of the car. "Why are you guys here?" Chin Zhao was surprised that Yura and Cheryl had come together. Although he had also informed the two of them, they had informed him separately. "Cheryl, where are Chris and Sienna?" "They'll be here at night. Yura and I came over to play first." "All right, you guys go play in the forest first. I'll let Princess and the rest accompany you. Right now, we're still preparing for the party, so it's a bit messy." Fei Lai came up and gave them 2 portions of roasted food. Bant, Mary, and the Ken family were the first to arrive in the evening. They also brought their own wheat beer. Because they both lived in a small town, the 2 families were very close. They had come early to help as well. "You 3 go sit down. You're guests, not mediocre people." Fei Lai went up to serve them. I can't sit down," Mary said. Chun Zhao and Fei Lai had no choice but to let her help. Thankfully, everything was almost ready now. The inferior demons had already hidden themselves. Del, Fisher, and Risfar's family had come together. The most tiring part of the party wasn't the servants, but the hosts. This was because the 2 hosts had to treat every guest with all their heart. They couldn't neglect every guest. More and more guests came, and the atmosphere became more and more like a party. All the guests were full of praise for Chin Zhao's food and wine. Stephen put his hand on Chun Zhao's shoulder. "Chin, what species is that tentacle? Although it's very small, I can see that the size of this octopus is definitely not small." Of course, a tentacle weighed more than 10 tons. How could it be small? Chun Zhao had only taken out a few tenths of a tentacle. If he took out the entire tentacle, the guests might not even be able to finish it. First, they might not even be able to cook it. It's a deep-sea octopus, a very special species. It's indeed very big. Because it lives in the deep sea that humans can't reach, It's almost impossible to catch. It's not even available on the market. Then give me a few. How many did I give you? Qin Zhao rolled his eyes. I asked my friends for help too. A few of them died before I got to. How many died? When they dove into the deep sea, their diving goggles exploded and they died. When they were dragged out, they were like mud. Stephen gasped. It's that scary? What's the other two meat? I can't taste it at all. Chen Zhao whispered into Stephen's ear. They're all protected animals. Don't tell others, or I'll be in trouble too. Okay. Wait, you didn't think of this answer to reject me, right? How is that possible? Am I that stingy? With your vision, if it was ordinary food, how could it be hidden from you? That's true. What animal is it? I can't say. Petty. I don't care. I'm going to pack one tonight. I already prepared it for you, Qin Zhao said. This time, Chen Zhao had collected a lot of ingredients in the mirror space on Route 666. He might not be able to finish it even in 100 or 1,000 parties, let alone one. Just then, Leonardo ran over. Mr. Stephen, can I get your autograph? Of course. Leonardo wasn't the only one who asked for Stephen's autograph. Stephen didn't put on airs at all. He didn't reject anyone who asked for an autograph. Play by yourself. I'm going to entertain the others. Go. Don't neglect the others. Stephen often had parties, so he knew that Qin Zhao couldn't keep him company all the time. Regardless of whether the guests were close or distant, since he'd invited them to the party, he couldn't be distant. This was the courtesy of a host. From afar, Qin Zhao could hear Caprice and Ethan arguing. The two still had their old tempers. They would hurt each other whenever they saw each other. Chen Zhao didn't know if the two stubborn old men still had feelings for each other. When Chen Zhao walked over, Wright also walked over. Chapter 962. Wright couldn't be bothered with Ethan and Caprice, but Wright's words stopped the quarrel between the two of them. They looked at each other awkwardly. There was still resentment in their eyes, but they didn't want to argue in front of Wright. Qin, let's go sit over there, Wright invited. Chen Zhao couldn't reject Wright. The two sat on the rooftop. Wright really liked the layout of Chen Zhao's house. After all, it was designed by her great-grandson. It was said that taste could be passed down from generation to generation. So, it wasn't strange that Wright liked it. Qin, you haven't been to school in a long time. Have you forgotten your other identity? How about I go once a week starting next year? No, I'll arrange a class for you next year. You have to teach me for at least a semester. Right, I'm afraid I'm too busy. Wright saw that Chen Zhao wasn't very willing to accept it. She didn't want to force him. But she also felt that it would be a waste if Chen Zhao didn't have a few students with his amazing medical skills. At least your classes will be twice as many as last year. Wright took a step back. You can also teach a few interns. Can I think about it? You have to give me an answer soon. After all, school starts in February. The school has to arrange the classes in advance. I'll give you an answer as soon as possible, Qin Zhao said. Oh, I can't even tell where your food is from or what species it is, Wright said. You don't have some rare animals, do you? Don't joke around. I'm a firm supporter of the Animal Protection Association. Chen Zhao fully displayed his ability to speak in human language and ghost language. Also, the so-called rare animals might not be delicious. Wright didn't continue pestering Chen Zhao. She knew that Chen Zhao had too many guests to take care of. Then, David and Leonardo dragged Chen Zhao to drink. Everyone partied until midnight. Tonight was the welcome party, so the atmosphere was very lively. Fei Lai couldn't take it anymore and went to rest first. The bell rang at midnight. Chen Zhao lit the fireworks. The entire mirror lake was lit up. Everyone was partying, and the atmosphere was even more lively. Qin Zhao had found enough chauffeurs to escort his customers home one by one. After all, most of the guests were drunk. Chun Zhao did not want to attend his welcome party today and their funerals tomorrow. All the guests had left, except for Yura and Cheryl. They were arranged to sleep. The inferior demons also began to clean up the inside and outside of the mansion. Chun Zhao took the wine and entered the river map. Happy New Year, Old Turtle. I'm here to drink with you. Old Turtle was Chun Zhao's senior. He couldn't attend the party, but Chun Zhao couldn't ignore him. Chun Zhao and Old Turtle were both drunk. Of course, maybe Old Turtle was just pretending to be drunk in front of Chun Zhao. Old Turtle, have you thought about going out? Chun Zhao asked in a drunken voice. I have thought about it, but I can't get out. This is Lady Nuwas by Sima. I don't want to force it anymore. Old Turtle said calmly. If the river diagram is destroyed, can you come out? First of all, the river diagram is an ancient divine artifact. It's not something you can destroy with your mediocre skills. Second, destroying the river diagram will only destroy me too. You can't let me out, but I still thank you. In the middle of the night, Chun Zhao came out of the river diagram and returned to Fei Lai's side. He spent the first night with her. Chun Zhao really enjoyed his current life and treasured it. On the 5th day after the New Year, the people of the supernatural organization all returned from Cape Town. Everyone had a great time on this trip. Chun Zhao organized another banquet for them. Most of them were useless, but they were all Chun Zhao's subordinates. Mr. Chin, the main building of your project is finished. You can come and take a look when you have time. I'll go tomorrow, Chun Zhao said. The next day, Chun Zhao brought all the members over. After all, the headquarters didn't belong to Chun Zhao alone. He had to let his subordinates confirm if there was anything that needed to be changed or added. Is this our new headquarters? Moer was still a child. He was the most excited about the new headquarters. Yes, what do you think? Chun Zhao said. Is there anything that needs to be changed or improved? You can bring it up now. Felwood Cisco accompanied everyone. He was very curious about who Chun Zhao's subordinates were. But after looking for a long time, he still couldn't figure them out. Chun Zhao's subordinates were very complicated. There were adults, children, and the elderly. President, I want a shooting range, Cass said. Chun Zhao turned to Felwood. Mr. Felwood, can you add a shooting range? Of course. Felwood agreed without hesitation. Chun Zhao's budget was more than enough. He wished that these people would make more requests so that he could use up as much of his budget as possible. Plus, as long as someone made a request, Chun Zhao wouldn't reject. Even Felwood wanted to be Chun Zhao's subordinate. Chun Zhao didn't even blink when spending money. President, if the artificial lake isn't connected to running water, it'll easily stink, Wes said. I think we can connect it to a river in the mountains. Sure, Mr. Felwood. Think about which river is closer and then connect it to the artificial lake. There are indeed a few rivers nearby. They all flow out of the mountains. The best way is to bring in water from the Longjing River and then connect it to the Los Angeles River. The water will flow out and become running water. Felwood Cisco quickly came up with a plan. Let's do that. President, I think our association needs to add a helicopter, so it's best to build 2 helipads. Oh, it's also best to build a small runway and add 2 small propeller planes. Chun Zhao thought for a moment and asked, Mr. Felwood, is the budget enough? Yes, a small runway costs about $1 million. It's fine as long as the site is big enough. Mr. Chen's land is very big, so there aren't any other problems. As for the helipad, it's even cheaper. It's just a supplementary construction, so there's no need to increase the budget. Then let's build it. Chun Zhao looked at Cass. Cass, your people all know how to fly planes, right? Yes. Then I'll leave the purchase of the helicopter and propeller planes to you. After you decide on the model, talk to West.